This is the XNC Podcast, your Xbox newscast featuring Colteastwood, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, XNC Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the XNC Podcast live. Episode 25, and I've got one of my best friends in the entire planet, the planet of Xbox, Thor, 19, on the show to talk about... what are we talking about today, Rand? What is it?
What am I doing here? I gotta say, I haven't seen your intro in a bit, right?
Yeah.
What is with you doing the whole like bringing the controller in and pointing to it and doing the air guitar? Like, what is all that? Like,
I think that's just my personality in a nutshell. Game On Daily asked me to record a 5 to 8 second like video reel of me, so I just like recorded for a couple of I just did this funny stuff. I'm like air guitar, just pump the fist, just be total dork. And there's Asa in the chat, but yeah, just have some fun.
Mm-hmm. No, seriously, I didn't know I was doing this podcast till literally 3 minutes ago.
Right? Yeah. This is how good Rand is. He said, "Let me put on my podcast slippers. Let me crack the knuckles because you want to talk Halo, right?"
I mean, who doesn't want to talk Halo?
And I got to give a shit because Rand is here. He just literally an hour ago dropped his take on Halo Infinite, and we're going to get full into how we are reacting to Xbox's big Halo reveal. But I want to give a shout out to over 200 people who are showing up here. This is the XNC Podcast. I'm the host, Colteastwood, here with Thor. This is a podcast that's live on YouTube on this channel, and we're also on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, so you can check those out after with earbuds on and while you're mowing the frosty lawn. But we have a lot to talk about, Rand. How have you been today? Like, were you up at the crack of dawn for this, or did you wait until you were just dang well good and ready?
You know me, I don't get up that early. And it was a 6-minute trailer, and they're like 8 a.m. I'm just like, yeah, no, I'll just wake up whenever I wake up. And then, so I woke up and I saw your amazing video, which honestly, every single time I watch one of your videos, it blows me away with the amount of craftsmanship and production that you put in every ounce of your talent, the genius into every one of the videos that you make. My videos in comparison are just poop. They're just poop.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? So I saw your video and I saw Dealers, and I was just like, well, I gotta do something a little different, right? Not everybody wants to like watch the same thing. So since I hadn't seen the trailer, I actually recorded my reaction live while within the video.
That is really different for you.
So
super
like, okay,
different
why
for you.
not? You know me. Halo's my favorite franchise in the world, and I was kind of like, okay, I haven't been on social media. I don't know what the reaction is. For all I know, people could be hating it. There'd be another Craig meme somewhere. And I'm just gonna put my honest to God reaction out there. So yeah, it was fun to do. So I put mine out like an hour ago. You helped me with the thumbnail. Of course, you made an amazing thumbnail for it, as you always do. But
thank you.
There's a lot going on in that trailer, in that overview trailer, isn't there?
I know we're going to break it down in a little bit. It's been a busy news week, and we were on the phone yesterday when you found out about this Halo thing dropping Monday morning, and you're like, Colt, I think they're going to show campaign. I'm like, Rand, I'm not ready. Like, I got to do the show, and I'm just not emotionally ready to cover everything because there's been like this, it was so quiet for like a month, and now Xbox has got all this crazy news that's been coming up. There's been more to talk about, but I want to start off bite-sized. I got to ask you about the Xbox mini fridge because this dropped the day after my last week's show, so I haven't got to talk about it on my show. But I got up in the morning thinking on a Tuesday morning I was going to get myself a mini fridge. What the heck was going on with that thing, Rand?
Did you get one, Colt? Were you able to get one? Did you beat the scalpers, or did you?
No, I didn't. Hey, shout out to Kung Fu Hot Dog who just joined the channel as a channel member. He's got the Marcus Phoenix emoji that I drew as his badge for the first month. And he'll get access to videos that I put up like 10 or 12 hours before they go up. I finish them like in the evening the night before. And monthly merch. I need to do the merch giveaway this week for the month. But yeah, shout out to him. I did not get the mini fridge. Rand, what in the heck? Did you even try?
I didn't even try because right now in my situation, I don't need a mini fridge. So as much as I would like to get one, it would literally just be for an aesthetic, just for like a background thing. It would just go somewhere and I wouldn't use it. So I was like, I mean, it's not that expensive. It's $100. But then I saw that basically nobody, well, nobody's maybe just a little bit over exaggeration, but a lot of people who were camping out for it, hitting that F5 button, were disappointed because they weren't able to get it. And basically scalpers got it. They put it up on eBay for $250 to $300, which is that price. It's like, no, I'm not paying that type of money for a mini fridge. And I think Xbox then came out and said there'll be more like launch day. Like you'll be able to go into stores and buy them if you wanted to and stuff like that. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, we kind of knew this was going to happen. Look at the scalping going on for PS5s. You know, for
a mini fridge, though?
Well, yeah, I mean, because it's just a thing someone could easily buy and try to sell for double the price. And there are people out there that would probably spend it. Although I am kind of curious to see if how many of those scalpers actually end up with like unused inventory because they can't sell a mini fridge for $250 or something. You know,
they can sell it for $99.99, right? If they get super desperate, but. I mean, we wouldn't sit here and talk on the show for an hour about mini fridges, but it's not just a mini fridge. Like it's got the light up button, the top light's green, like I wish Series X did. It's got a USB port on the front, you know, so you can, you know, charge your controller, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I would only need it for the aesthetic, but I would still load it with a couple Mountain Dews. I just couldn't get one, but I'm going to try and get one in December when they drop in the store. And I know the chat. I'm looking at the chat. Like, they want a mini fridge, but scalping ruined it. But I don't know. Rand, you need to get the mini fridge.
I know what you want the mini. Here, I'm looking at your setup right now, right? Your awesome. What guitar is that on your right-hand shoulder, the white one? What?
That's my Les Paul. It's a custom Les Paul custom.
And you got your 4 records, right? And you got your 100,000 YouTube plaque directly behind you because you make such incredible content. I know you, Colt.
You're so close, Rand. You're so close.
Well, maybe we'll get there next year. But I know you, Colt. I know you. If you got that Series X fridge, would it be going right behind you on the couch, or would it be going where that piano is?
I think it would be going over here. But that's a really nice amp I have over there. I'm afraid to put something that may condensate or drip. I don't know. I want it to be in the shot. So yes, Rand, you smart thinking. Smart thinking. I got a super here I got to read. Let's see. We got Lofty with the £5 super chat. It says, thanks for all the coverage, guys. He means you, Randall Thor, cranking out those videos. Said, bring on Halo. Let's get Craig Lore Terminal in Infinite. So did Craig die today, Rand?
Yes. He looks so much. Do you see what Jez tweeted out? Like a picture of Craig that just says yes. And it was just
the side view?
Yeah, if like any fanboys give you gruff in the comments, you just block them and then post this thing of just Craig with his updated look.
Is Jez the meme meister or what?
Yeah, he's the meme meister of mayo and shrimp. You know he loves mayo, right? Which is disgusting.
Well, I mean, it's not
you.
Miracle Whip. Miracle Whip's disgusting.
Not
but
you too, Colteastwood. No.
Wait, you won't even get near mayonnaise?
No.
Actually, if any of my friends, if like Gaz shows up and hears we're talking about mayonnaise on the podcast, he will get so mad. He's like, you're not allowed to talk about food on a podcast, but I love food. And speaking of food, shout out to Kung Fu Hot Dog with a £5 super chat. He says, hey, Colton Rand, do you think the Slipspace engine was too much for 343 Industries, and it's why the game was delayed a year? Forza Horizon 5 and Halo are coming this year.
I think the big reason why it was delayed is because of the pandemic. I don't think 343 was a studio well-equipped to work from home. And they were coming in the final stretches of Halo Infinite's development when COVID hit. And Microsoft has very strict work-from-home policies. Like, I don't think they've been working from home since like March of last year.
Yeah.
And I think
Oh yeah.
343 just wasn't equipped to build that game with everybody working from home, and it just suffered because of it, and it just wasn't going to be ready in time. So the year delay, obviously, I think is very beneficial. It looks a lot better. Well, we'll talk about our thoughts on the trailer, but I think the main culprit is the pandemic and the work from home stuff. So, do you agree, Colt? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when he says the Slipspace engine, I have to think that they've spent a lot of time developing that. So it's been 7 years, hasn't it, since Halo 5? So yeah, it's been a while. Has it been 7 or 6?
2015, so 6 years.
I can't do the math. 6 years. So, well, of course, I would assume like creating the engine and getting the game working in it. Another question that we'll talk about later. It's not really our forte, talking about the super in-depth tech, but some people are worried about the Xbox One holding back. We're going to talk about that later as well. But as we're kind of warming in, I got to talk about GTA Trilogy because they finally showed the game. It looks slightly improved, and half the people I've talked to don't even want to get this. Where do you stand on the GTA Trilogy? Like, it's the great, right? Where are you standing on this thing?
I don't know. I might get it simply to have it as part of my backlog collection, because I do have fond memories of both Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas. But nothing that I saw made it look like, oh, you need to play this now, or, it's been so long since you played Grand Theft Auto 3, you're going to play it now and have a better experience than what I did back in whatever year it came out. Honestly, I'm looking. I want to play Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yes.
I know Grand Theft Auto 5 is supposed to come out or come out again next year, like a next gen version. But it's like, okay, sure. But what I want from Grand Theft Auto isn't the old games. The old games were fine for the era they're in, but I don't know, Colt. I mean, if I buy them, which I might, I definitely won't play them. That's the thing. Like, it's just something I want for a collection. I don't actually want to play them. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of the same way, even though I was playing San Andreas when I made that video in August, and I was so frustrated with the controls because we've evolved and adapted beyond those type of controls. So I'm kind of with you where I know I just kind of want to own them, but here's the other problem. You're not concerned with this, but Grand Theft Auto Trilogy comes out when we're going to be way too busy playing Forza and Halo and Battlefield. So I know I'm gonna buy it, and it's just gonna sit there. So I don't know. Chat, let me know if you're.
It's kind of like Alan Wake Remastered or these Crysis games where it's like I played these games, and they're great. If there wasn't anything new to play, like if there wasn't Guardians of the Galaxy or Far Cry or any of the new games out, I'd play Alan Wake. But it's like, do I really want to play Alan Wake again over a new experience?
And you love that game.
And I love Alan Wake, and I bought it. And I'm going to play it at some point, but I can't really justify playing Alan Wake again when I haven't played Guardians of the Galaxy yet. So
we got to say something about Guardians. That's not on the list of all the tasty things we have to talk about. But Guardians of the Galaxy was like, who wants that game? That looks stupid. And then it's getting really good scores. What's it sitting at? Like, you don't have to give me the exact number, but you were looking like
last time I looked, it was like an 81. But it definitely seems like a lot of people like it, and there are some people down on it for having that score. But it's better than I thought it would get, because when I originally saw those trailers, I was thinking to myself, mid 70s, low 70s. But it definitely seems like, no, it's a solid game. I watched Skill Up's review. He strongly recommends it.
I had to stop watching his review. I watched like 10 minutes of the 30-minute review, and I'm like, oh, he's showing a lot of stuff. I already know I want it. Like, you're going to play it, right?
Of course.
Yeah. I was getting to that point where I'm like, oh, he's shown plenty. He does such great content. I was hearing that you get to, your companions, the Guardians, like, you bring them in on cooldowns and have them do attacks, kind of like turn-based, even though you have real-time combat, right? Is that kind of what you're getting from the game?
Yeah. I mean, I like the world. I like Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm interested in seeing whatever story they have concocted. So it just seems like fun. And their last game, I believe, was Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Idols of Montreal, which was a quality game. And I think their game before that was Deus Ex Mankind. So they make quality games. I had really no doubt that this game would be quality. So, yeah, I'm gonna play it. I know I haven't been playing much, and you get on me all the time because I've been sitting here reading Wheel of Time trying to finish it.
I've been getting on you lately because like you kind of took a little sidebar while you're waiting for things to ramp up. So
yeah,
but that's that. You know, I like giving you a hard time all the time. That's what we do,
true.
though.
Yes, that is true. Colt would be on the phone with me, and I'm like, he's like, "Are you getting on to play? You haven't been on in a month." And I'm like, "I'm reading my books." And Colt's like, "I'm gonna expose you on Twitter. You don't play games anymore." And I'm like, "Oh, Colt, don't do that, please."
Well, that's my inner voice telling you we're not hanging out, man. Like we're not hanging out on Xbox while we play games or play games together. Like when we played Streets of Rage 4 together, that was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So, shout out to Saint Irv, new channel member, and I got a super chat. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Cade Forever says, Colt, Project Shaolin is a Wu-Tang game published by Xbox. He's getting a couple things mixed up here or there, but he says, not only like, what the heck are they thinking? Is Phil losing his mind? Laugh out loud, just kidding. But for real, though, like, Cade Forever is asking, what in the heck is this Wu-Tang game? Can you give everybody the...
I'm not Jez Corden or Jeff Grubb, but this is a game I've known about since July. Jez found out about it. He's been sitting on it since then. He told me my reaction. He DM'd me, was like, I know a new game. And Jez gets really excited when he gets new code names and stuff like that, new information. So I'm like, oh, what is it? And he's like, it's a Wu-Tang game. And I'm just like, say what? Excuse me? What kind of game is it? He's like, oh yeah, they're making some like a Wu-Tang RPG or action RPG, and I was just like, yeah, I didn't have that on my bingo card or something Xbox would make. But apparently it's being made by Brass Line Entertainment or Brass Line Studios. They're fairly
What do they do?
They're fairly new, so I'm not really. I don't know if this is their first game or their second game. I don't really know that much about them because Jez has all the info about it, and so did Jeff Grubb. So I'm not really too sure about the details of the game, whether or not like it's a game about the Wu-Tang Clan, the rap group, and they're doing like the soundtrack or whatever, or if it's about like the Wu-Tang like fighting, like the art fighting style. I'm not really sure exactly what type of game it is, but it definitely sounds like it's a real thing. I've
heard it's like a very heavily stylized animated or anime style, like animation game. Like it's not like a photorealistic, or it's just very anime style is what I heard. I don't know who I heard that from. Maybe that was just somebody just wishing and hoping.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where you get the information about it and you try to piece it together, but then it doesn't like come close to what you imagine. Because I remember hearing about Project Typhoon when Jez first heard about it, which was Contraband. And then we saw it, and we didn't really see much of it. So even still, like, we don't know what Contraband is. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, this Wu-Tang, this is one of those games where like it has my interest because it's so out there and something I never thought. You know, like my first thought was like, are we talking like a Def Jam Fight for New York or something like that style game?
Right.
But it's definitely something that I would be interested in seeing what it's like. I think Jess said it's like 4-player co-op and stuff like that. So we'll see. I don't know when it would get revealed. I don't know when it would get announced. It might be a couple years away, but I mean, Xbox is making a ton of games, and the whole like diversity thing. Like that's where I think this one maybe confuses people because they're like, "Woo, sure, who asked for that?" But like Phil and Matt, they've been all upfront about making diverse style games. So you got your racing game with Forza, you got your shooter with Halo. You got your quirky platformer with Psychonauts, and then you have, you got a heist game with Contraband. You got like a MMO RPG from IO Interactive, which Project Dragon. Then you got this Wu-Tang game.
So many games.
A visual novel with like from As Dusk Falls and all these other titles, and then everything coming from, first party. It's just like there's just so much content, which is exactly what Xbox needs.
Right.
So.
I wonder if it's one of those things where, Matt Booty and the team saw this Wu-Tang thing in development and like, how much do you want for that? Like, we want that. Oh, that'll be on. We want to get that on Xbox and make that a platform exclusive. I don't know. That's kind of weird. And maybe there's things out there that are like a nice, easy price, and then they come to Xbox. And isn't Xbox looking for a couple of those games that are just kind of like the viral runaway hits, as well as like the bigger games? Haven't you kind of seen that attitude coming from Matt and Phil when they talk about Among Us and Fall Guys, right?
They want all types of games. Big blockbusters. Really good indie titles. They want like a breadth of games instead of like a one type of game. So
yeah. I got two messages about this, Rand. This is totally off topic, but thanks to Raymond G for the $5 super chat. He says, Cole Eastwood, happy Monday. Got my LG CX OLED updated to Dolby Vision at 4K 120 hertz on the Series X. So I guess those updates are rolling out right now. You might want to check your TV if you have the CX. I have the C9, so am I not getting that, Rand?
I don't think so. Unless you go to their website, you might be able to download the update and put it on your USB.
Oh, okay.
And update it that way, but I'm not sure. I think they stopped doing updates for the C9s. Sounds like you need a new TV. You need to get the C1.
Oh man, I just got this TV a year and a half ago. Oh yeah, that would be horrible. Hey, one more, and we'll get moving. Hey Blinken, well, thank you so much for the 20. He says, hey Rand and Colt, what's your most anticipated Xbox holiday game? He can't decide between Halo and Forza. Rand, what is your most anticipated game this holiday from Xbox?
It's Halo. Of course it's Halo. Yeah. It's my favorite franchise. So it's been my most anticipated game the entire year, and it's not going to change. And, I've already played Forza Horizon 5, wink, wink, just like Colteastwood has.
On preview.
I have not played Halo 5's campaign. We have played the multiplayer together, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm going to play hundreds of hours of the Halo multiplayer. So I am really excited about finally. We're going to soon. I mean, what are we, a month and maybe a couple weeks away from December 8th?
Let's not do the math, because that's gonna be. I just finished. I pushed myself through Far Cry 6 yesterday. I think it was yesterday morning, and finished it because we've got so many games coming, and I just forgot what I was gonna say. You got me so excited. Oh, you and I were comparing Forza Horizon stats, and I have over 600 hours in the series, so I love Forza Horizon, but Halo is this is a new experience on Halo. And that's why people are so excited right now. So, all right, let's get into. We kind of talked about the Wu-Tang thing, and then there's that mobile cloud, you could play on your phone, you can play on the console. I don't want to get into that, but that's just another thing that you didn't mention when you listed off 8 games that are coming that aren't the big things that have been shown already. There's all those games that are just names or projects. We got to talk about GamesIndustry.biz. They've kind of been giving Xbox kind of the push, right? Kind of giving that push to get to the center of the gaming platforms, right? Because they need to really compete. And they put out an article saying that Xbox needs to bring bigger games to Game Pass if they don't want Game Pass to nosedive like it did this year. Did you talk about this in your last podcast about they didn't grow 48%. They only grew 37%.
Yeah. Me and Jez talked about that, and Jez has a lot of inside context at Microsoft. He was saying that Microsoft sets these expectations for executive payouts, which isn't. People think it's funny because people think this was just they wanted it to grow this much, and that was their target. This was the growth target for executive bonus pay compensation. So what Satya?
Why are we hearing about it then?
Well, because it was noted because Microsoft has to put out their financials, right? And it was noticed that Game Pass they had a target. So when they made the bonus pay targets for the year starting last year from June, so from June 2020 to June 2021, if Game Pass hit a 48%, Satya and the executive team would get a bonus, right?
Yeah,
it didn't.
yeah.
It hit 37%, and I think Teams missed its bonus, and Surface missed its bonus, right? So they set them. They set
So
them
did
really
Satya
high.
like slam his Lamborghini door shut? Dang it!
Instead of getting a 100-foot yacht, he can only get a 50-foot yacht this time. So instead of, so basically, when you think about, I actually think 37 is pretty good for the year Game Pass at, because honestly, Game Pass from June of last year to June of this year wasn't really good. It wasn't spectacular. It could have been a lot better for many different reasons. One, they made that projection of 48% thinking Halo Infinite was launching with the Series X.
In November,
it got delayed, right?
Yeah.
And when you look at like what else came out for Game Pass, they had the Medium in January, they had Gears Tactics for launch of the system.
December. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you had MLB The Show and Outriders in April.
The Ascent
for the most part, the Ascent was July, so it would have missed.
Oh, it was? Okay.
So for the most part, I think most people would say Game Pass didn't really have any big hitters at all. So the fact that it grew 37%,
and Xbox as a platform didn't have any.
Yeah.
So like, because you kind of need that. You kind of need that showing, right? Like when people just know that Xbox has great games, and they were that late winter, early spring was pretty rough. And I talked about it a lot. You talked about it a lot on your channel.
Yeah, and it's just what's going to make Game Pass grow is Microsoft's first party. They need to put out those. They need the Forzas and the Halos to be out, and we're getting them. We're getting them starting next month, and we're getting, Halo in December, and Starfield's going to be a watershed moment. Redfall, right? But like Microsoft, like to grow Game Pass, they need to constantly be putting in games. You can't go from January to June, basically half a year, with
the teeny games,
with not anything substantial. Like you need your own first party games, and you need other big third party titles. So Microsoft knows how much it grew. It still grew 37% without Halo, which was supposed to be there. And who knows? Maybe if Halo launched last year, maybe Satya hits its target. Maybe Satya, hits the 50% bonus target, right? And we'd be singing a different tune that, hey, Game Pass hit its targets. It's growing, right? So I personally don't think it's a big deal, but they do need the games. The games are what going to draw people to the service, and they need to start delivering on them. That's what I think. I think.
Well, there's another part of that I wanted to ask you about. Yeah, like when you're talking about the third party, that's what I was going to ask you in a second ago. But I got to say this first because I said this on Miles' show, Miles Dampierre's podcast on Saturday. I said, because you and I are YouTubers and we're always looking at the numbers, we're always trying to make better content and get more people to watch and get people excited and grow the audience and communicate with everybody. And so I was explaining how we look at the analytics. Like YouTube's very brutal. They tell you, hey, Rand, your video, nobody wanted to watch it. Like they kind of say that, right? Mm-hmm. And you and I have these discussions behind the scenes because, we take time to make videos and we're excited about the news. We want to share it with people. And if a video doesn't do very well, you're like, oh man, why didn't anybody want to watch it? Was it not good enough? Do I need to do better? But anyway, that's kind of a fun backstory. But like when you look at the analytics and YouTube says, hey, Randall Thor, your channel is up 12% right now. Keep doing what you're doing. You're like, oh man, that's awesome. And so the reason why I said that is Xbox was told, hey, you grew 37% year on year. If we got that kind of growth, we'd be like, hey, we're doing really, really well. But when you look at that target where they were 10% under, like the media kind of flipped out and some of the fanboys kind of flipped out on it, right, Rand? That was...
Well, Game Pass definitely has people that love it and people that hate it. Both in the fanboy community or just in social community, as well in the media. There's some people that just don't like game. Look at this man joining. See, here's the thing. I'm only here because Forte was supposed to be on the show, and I was just going to be like, you know what? I'm going to read my book, which I need to finish.
Nope.
And
that's because you're a friend.
Well, I'm here for Colt.
Listen,
so thank you. So later, guys, Forte's here. That means I can leave.
I'm
done for the night.
Oh my gosh, chat. Chat, somebody grab Rand by the ankle and hold on to him.
Listen, first of all, I need to apologize. Second of all, let me tell you, the weird story how this all went down. So I get this invite from Colt. Shout out to Colt, because that was like, it almost made me tear up last Monday when it happened. So I was sitting there, it's like, dang, heck yeah, we're going to do this. And then Wednesday, I get hit upside the head with an announcement that my store and all the stores in my area are going to be getting PlayStation 5 bundles on the 29th.
Oh, jeez.
So we're sitting there, and then on top of that, they're saying, "Oh yeah, don't forget you got a remodel for your store coming up this Sunday." So I'm like, and we got to do all our seasonal hiring before the end of today's business day. So I'm like, yo, I got PlayStation bundles coming next Friday. I got a remodel in my store on Sunday, which I didn't get home last night till 2 a.m. So shout out to that. And then had to get up this morning and go to work. And I'm sitting there. You know how it is. You don't work the next 2 days. So you try to go above and beyond. Be like, yo, I need to get all this stuff together so my people don't have nothing to do. And then I have one ear pod in my ear. Literally one ear pod, no phone call from Randolph Thor 19 to let me know that, bro, where are you at? I'm sitting there just working. I'm working, like thinking, I'm like in my mind, I'm thinking the show starts at 8:30. And then when I see Reyes tweet his text, I'm like, oh shoot, it started at 8:00. Man, my mind has been all over the place. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate it. But yeah. It's been
I got to give an intro. Like you can't just jump in here and tell that crazy story. Guys, this is Gaming Forte. We've been friends on Xbox for 2 or 3 years. And I've been wanting to have him on the show because we talk, when we're on Xbox Live, like we talk the talk about gaming news. Gaming Forte runs a GameStop. That's what he's talking about. So when he just said that he's being bombarded with they're going to send him like 1.5 PS5s. No, but they're going to get him some bundles. He's going to be busy. So Rand, do you want to stick around? The chat wants you. We want you here.
I
know you got stuff to do.
Around. You know, because when I was talking to Colt earlier, like 6, I was like, because Colt was like, I don't know if Forte realizes he's supposed to be on my show tonight, and I'm like, well, if Forte doesn't show up, I'll do the show, right? Because I don't want Colt to come out like by himself and be like, hey guys, like this. It's me. Got nobody here. And at like 6:50, Colt's like, I haven't heard from Forte. And I was on the phone with Cognito. I'm like, Cognito. I'm like, you believe this man Forte is gonna no-show Colt's show?
What Cognito tell you?
Oh, like, come on.
I have to call Forte right now. It's like, I gotta call him. I gotta tell him.
I knew something was going on.
He ain't called me. He ain't called me either.
I guess, yeah.
Actually, he Cognito texted me and goes, hey, Colt, let's see if Forte just crashes and burns. And I go, yeah, let's wait. No, I'm just kidding. No, this community is incredible. Like, we all are always talking, and we're networking. We're getting it done together. But when you said you got hit upside the head, I'm like, maybe you really did get hit upside the head, and you were laying in a ditch, and someone's trying to steal your Xbox mini fridge pre-order. Is that what was going on?
Oh, no, I wish that was what was going on, man.
Dude, it's crazy. So you didn't know about the Halo stuff this morning. Like,
Listen, no, I knew about it this morning. This is the funny thing. I shout out to the Iron Lords because I did the reveal stream this morning with them before I went to work, So I get up and I see Lord Addict streaming at 7:00 in the morning. I'm like, yo, why is you streaming at 7:00 in the morning? And I look at the title, and it says Halo Campaign Overview. And I'm like, did I miss something? I was like, I went to work at 5:00 p.m. yesterday. I didn't leave till 2 a.m.
Holy smokes!
Normally, nothing like this happens on a Sunday. I'm like looking at tweets and stuff. I said, did Xbox tweet something? And then I finally get to Halo's tweet, and I was like, and then Joseph.
At what time? What time zone are you in?
I'm in Eastern.
So, what time did you finally realize that? Xbox like here's the game,
like 7:30 a.m. And I was like, so then I text what's the name, and he was like, yo, you want to jump in the live stream? And I was like, sure. What's happening? I don't know. And then I did watch the stream, but it was just really weird because either this was going to be a really good, they were like super hyped to show this, or it was going to be really bad. Like they wanted to get it out really quick. That's how I kind of looked at it. I was like, the fact that they threw this information out on a Sunday late in the day, it was like, okay, we're just going to pull the Band-Aid off real quick, or we got something really fire to show y'all and we super excited. And I really liked what I saw. So
yeah, we're going to get fully into that. I've got a couple of quick topics to cover that need a little bit of discussion, and then we got to get all the way into this Halo stuff. And I hope that you've had time to watch it at full fidelity, Gaming Forte.
Yeah. 4K. The only way to see it. Don't watch
4K,
nobody else's
baby.
stream of it. If you watch somebody's stream of it, you're gonna be disappointed.
What about the people that recorded it and uploaded it in 1080p 30, where make it look like crap because they're trying to tell you it looks like crap?
What do you mean make it look like crap?
Because like, you know, they took a horrible.
Did you literally just take somebody's name and put it in the name in the middle of what you were saying?
No, Rand said they made it look like crap. I know what he's talking about.
Crap because the recording that they then used for their video looks awful.
Oh man.
So, you know,
What kind of gamer would make that game look like crap? So let's talk about
gamer.
let's talk about Rand being vilified, and as the crowd raises him up and praises him for all of his wonderful, what do you call it? Like your prophecy, the prophecy of the Randall Thor 19,
which
and
prophecy are you
PlayStation
speaking
games
of?
going to PC. We got the big announcement that nobody said would ever happen because PlayStation would never put their bangers on PC. Let's start with Gaming Forte because, Rand, we need to talk about... I need to find out if you got some apologies. But Gaming Forte, how was your reaction to God of War heading over to the PC?
My reaction was 3 years ago when I knew this was going to happen when the game came out. I instantly knew. I was like... I just didn't want to wait. God of War is my favorite franchise. I literally bought my PlayStation 5 just to play God of War. It's sitting right here. This beautiful thing here. You know, that thing. It just sits there. Wait for God of War. But
yeah.
Ultimately, to me, it was I really kind of want to rebuy it and play it again because I want to play it at 120 frames per second and let people know, like, man, y'all don't know what y'all missing. But ultimately, I'm just super excited that more people are going to play the game. That's all that really matters to me. I feel like it's one of the best games that came out last generation. In my opinion, it's the best game that came out last generation. But for some reason, people just assume that Sony don't like money. And last time I checked, they all like money.
Forte, sir. It wasn't even the best game to come out in 2018.
Yes, it was. What was? Please don't say. What
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah,
Why?
Red Dead Redemption 2
wait, hold on.
yeah.
Are we saying that because Xbox got, you know, the definitive version of it, sir? Are we
No.
saying
No,
You know
Red
that
Dead
doesn't-
looks
you know that
amazing.
No, it
doesn't
does.
matter to
It
me.
does look amazing.
Yeah.
Red Dead
I'm just
does
And I
look
teared up. I teared up a couple times in Red Dead. Like
Okay, which
that
part?
game stuck with me. God of War is a hard hitting powerhouse. That's a tough one. I also love the heck out of Forza
I
Horizon
always just
4.
say that
But
because Forte's like, it's the best game of last gen. And I'm like, it wasn't even the best game of the year it came out in.
Listen, at least you know I'm not lying because you know I don't put games down. I don't put down Destiny for anything, and I put it down for God of War. You know, so you know, in my opinion, I feel like it was the best game of last generation because I don't put down Destiny for anything. But that
is
game.
true.
yeah,
That's definitely true.
I mean, there's a lot of people that would agree with you. It won Game of the Year at the Keeleys, which is the most important coveted title. But
we
Rand,
saw
did
that
you
coming
get
from a mile away though?
Did you get an apologies, Rand? Did people come to you and say, "I'm so sorry, I called you names. I didn't mean to put your head on some other picture and make fun of..." Wait, I do that, but did you get apologies for this, Rand?
No, I didn't get no apologies. I mean, some people apologize when Horizon, this all blew up because I said Horizon was coming to PC.
Yeah.
And people didn't believe me because at that time, all the Sony fanboys were like, this would never happen, ever. Because Sony knows the value of their exclusives, right? And I was just like, I don't know. I'm hearing Horizon's coming. I'm hearing Sony wants to put all their games on PC. And people just called me names. You know,
Rand's over there with the
at me.
sheep horn in his ear, and he's like, I hear thee with the PC games. Shout out to Gaz in the chat. What time is it over there in the UK? Gaz is up, and we got people here in the chat that are still up in the UK who are absolute great friends of the show. I think Gaz is working on his Halo Infinite video so he can bring his stuff to the masses. One more thing I was going to ask. Rand, what are the other couple of big rumored, whispered PlayStation exclusives coming to PC? Have you heard any?
Ghost of Tsushima, potentially coming to PC.
There we go.
There's always talks about Bloodborne coming, like in a
Oh yeah, I heard about that
version
too.
of Bloodborne. Ratchet and Clank. I mean, there was a bunch of leaks from the GeoForce thing, which Gran Turismo 7 was on there.
Yikes! Wow.
So I mean, we know. I mean, as King David would say, worldwide Jim. He's about putting them everywhere, and the hashtag you're not enough, right? Jim doesn't want just 10 million or 20 million anymore. Jim, worldwide Jim wants 100 million.
Worldwide Jim.
I want
120 million.
I want the 50-yard mop, baby.
So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, PC is just going to be an ongoing strategy that PlayStation is going to leverage, and we went from PlayStation will never do it to now, well, they're doing it the best way. They're smart about it because they make you buy it on PlayStation 5, and then 2, 3, 4 years later, they then resell to you for almost full price on PC. And they're like, it's not that big of a deal. But you see, it's not always going to be 3 to 4 years later.
Why? Why do they do that? Why do they have to say it's good? They make the PC guys wait. But what they're saying, Rand, is our console gets to feel special longer.
Yes.
That is so dumb because Phil called out Sony and PlayStation for making you double dip, and they use double dip as a champion point, don't they, Forte?
Man, they've been doing this for quite some time. It's funny to me to hear a lot of the people saying that they couldn't believe this was happening when, like, 4 or 5 months ago, that leaked document came out. And then we also had the information from Jim Ryan himself saying the full slate is coming. Like, what is the full slate? If I was to ask you what full slate of something means, what does that mean?
I would think full slate means like all the games you can list out that are like the big exclusives, that are the big sellers, they're going to PC.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
Like Rand saying Gran Turismo 7 being on that list doesn't surprise me because guess what? It's part of the full slate. So
we were hearing about this at the end of 2018, wasn't it? Gaming Forte? Yeah. Like we all made videos about it because like we knew it was coming.
First of all, call me Forte. Gaming Forte is like too formal. Just call me Forte.
Too formal.
I'm sorry. Mr. Gaming Forte Esquire the Third.
Stop it. Just Forte.
Oh my gosh!
Gaming in front of it now. It just
dude, you've
weird.
got a crazy week ahead of you. I will call you whatever you want. You will enjoy it. But
you're
I'm going to be watching out for your sanity this week, man, because they're going to be knocking down your doors. I got to give a shout out to Tyrone Bigums with a $2 super chat. He said, "How many rocks are on the new Halo ring?" I think it's 457,320. And Risk It for the Biscuit, new Australian friend of mine with the Australian $8 says, speaking to a mate last night, he's concerned that Halo is a Ubisoft fetch quest.
Ooh,
take the fort, go here, shoot the fruit. Is that a concern? Rand, let's go to you first.
So are we actually getting into the Halo topic right now, Colt? Is this what you want to do?
Let's talk about just the Far Cry Ubisoft concern real quick, because we have a couple more topics that have to be covered. And then we're diving into Halo. So, yeah, I was going to hold this, but
I think it's like my only true concern about the title at this point is how much of it is, hey, it's Halo Infinite by Ubisoft. Because it does seem like it has the map, and there's a bunch of things you can do and a bunch of upgrades. And to get those upgrades, you need to go take down strongholds or keeps or whatever they're calling it in this. So, yeah, there's a little concern in the back of my mind that this will be Halo in the vein of a Ubisoft open world game. Yeah. But we have yet to see how it's going to play out. I don't think the world will be as big as, say, Far Cry 6, which is just littered with checklists, check things everywhere you look.
Activities,
and they're all just constantly the same thing, right? So I guess it's just one of those things where you're right to sort of look at it and just be like, that might be an issue. And as we'll get into it, I think that's my only issue right now. So
okay. Well, you and I talked about this pre-show. Like we were on the phone doing our regular like Rand and Colt check-in. We're talking about your video you're putting out, but I don't know how Forte is. Forte, are you worried about this? Gaming Forte.
I am. Okay. So I'm not worried about it. I mean, I can see why people would be, especially if you're kind of tired of the whole Far Cry fatigue thing. I don't even really think it's more Far Cry. I think if you really take a step back, they really show it off as being something closer to what Just Cause is, honestly. Like the way the sandbox is kind of designed, I'm thinking as long as they can stick to like what I call narrative hubs, I think they're gonna have narrative beats in certain parts of the game, in certain areas of the map of the Halo ring. When you go to those areas, you're in the campaign setting. As long as they stick to the narrative and keep that super tight while you're in those areas, I think they'll knock it out of the park. Because I think what's going to happen when you go from like narrative point to narrative point, you're going to have this vast open world that you can pretty much do anything you want to do in.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's where I think the Far Cry, the Just Cause stuff comes from. Because when I started seeing you shooting grappling hooks at everything and floating around, and I was like, okay, I can see Far Cry, but it's more like just a sandbox that you can kind of just play in. And I think that's the thing that they really want gamers to kind of latch on to. Because let's be for real, a lot of people like the story for Halo because that's what the hardcore wants. But how do you attract more people into that ecosystem? Because some people are just going to play the campaign and they're just going to run around in the sandbox like a la Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto literally is a big sandbox that you just run around in and you do absolutely nothing in until they started adding more and more content to it. And I think that open world is going to get flushed out more and more and more over the course of however long this, I don't want to say 10-year plan, but however long it takes them to flush it out. So I think in the beginning, it's going to be something that people are going to be like, it's nothing there. But as long as they keep the story focus where it needs to be going through that campaign when it first starts out, I think it'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, and I wanted to convey to people that some of the best parts of Halo Reach were when you get out in those big open areas and there's like big outposts to take out, and we love that. But hey, let me do some housekeeping. Shout out to over 800, almost 900 people watching live. I'm here with Forte and I'm Randall Thor 19. We're talking about Halo Infinite. We've got a couple other things to talk about, but if you're enjoying the show, if you like these two guys and you're here putting up with me and you're having a good time on XNC Podcast, move the chat out of the way for a second, hit the like button. Let's get that close to 500. That helps the show, like people like come check it out and listen to what we have to say. But you guys are amazing. The chat's on fire. I've got super chats I want to get to, but I am really excited that Forte said Just Cause, because I said that in my video this morning. I know it's not
yet, so
I know you've barely been able to watch it. I mean, you made it here, right? But I gotta say, you guys gave great opinions. I have to say that I just don't see 343 inundating us with fetch quests and side missions and side activities and filling that map. I feel like we'll get a nice middle ground between the empty open Gears 5 and a more excitable place to play and use all the equipment, right? That's what that open world is for, so you can toy with the Covenant and the Brutes. Like, that's what I want to do. Like Rand pointed out, I missed it when I was creating the video. We're into the Halo Infinite, but your grapple shot can get an electricity cable on it, right? Rand, you saw it too? So
that's because me and Forte are paying attention, right?
I did feel like I was. I hate you, Rand. I did feel like I was rushing. So I got to say, this morning, I woke up at like 5:30. I had my alarm set for 5:45, and I'm like, oh, I'm tired, and I'm in my PJs, and I come into this room because I know I got to sit down and watch this thing live. And shout out to Gaz in the chat. We were on Party Chat. We watched the thing live at 1080p. Really low bit rate. Like, it doesn't look that great, but we were excited about the gameplay. And as soon as it wrapped, after 6 minutes, that premiere, we tracked back and watched the 4K 60 presentation. And Gaz was like, oh man. I wish I could do his voice because he's up higher register than me. But Gaz and I were like really excited. And but that concern, like that Far Cry thing, I kept hearing about that on social media. I kind of stayed away from social media. So I'm just excited about it. But let me get into...
And that was it. I was like, I'm not doing this on Twitter today.
Well, we should talk for a minute about the reactions, because one of the things that we have to deal with as Xbox fans has been rough without them having games for like a lot of these chunks of time during the console generation. But like they're here. Like 2021 is big for Halo and it's big for Xbox. Like they've got a lot of games in the pipeline that are coming now. So like this is the moment, and there are certain fans that are picking apart how Halo looks. I'll ask the panel, do you think Halo Infinite looks like it's improved? Or does it look like it's been 1 year improved?
I'll let you answer that first, Forte.
Whew. Okay. What are we comparing this? Are we just comparing this to last year, or just all the games that 343 made up to this point for Halo?
Oh, well, I mean, that's a whole other can of worms.
Those are two different answers, right?
Those are two different answers.
So if I go off of what 343 has done up to date, then it definitely doesn't look as good as Halo Infinite. And I feel like not Halo Infinite, Halo 5. Yeah. But I think Halo 4 for a 360 game looked like an Xbox One game when it first came out.
Halo 4 looks incredible.
And I think that's why a lot of people were super kind of like off-putting to what they saw with Infinite, because that was the one thing that we knew 343 knew how to do, was make a good-looking Halo game. And even knowing the style that they chose for the game kind of lent to the way it looked, it kind of just threw people off because they were expecting something different. But answering it directly to what you're saying, I think they did incredible work over the course of 1 year. I never thought that they could completely change the way the game was going to completely look in 1 year, but I think the things that they did when it comes to like the graphical pop-ins, to adding textures, people don't realize how much lighting really means in a game when you do. And that was the first thing I noticed when I watched the reveal last year. I was like, there's no lighting in this game. Where's the shadows, and everything just looks super flat and bland. And that was the first thing that came out in my thoughts when I said it. So seeing that stuff actually in the game drastically improved the visual quality of the game. And then you saw the Brute at the end. He actually had textures on his face, which actually made me a little bit more happier and stuff. But I think for a year, I think they got as far as they were going to get in 1 year. I still, I'm one of those people that was on camp not coming out to 2022, because I felt like if they wanted to truly make Halo what it needed to be, they would have took a year and a half to almost 2 years of doing it. But for what they did in that short amount of time, I think they did adequate to make the graphics look a lot better than they were a year ago.
Okay. Wow, I've never heard anybody say delayed a year and a half. Randall Thor, does it look better?
Yeah, it looks better than what they showed off last year, 100%. I mean, it doesn't look like a completely different game, but you can tell like the pop-ins are gone. You can tell Chief's armor looks better. The lighting looks like significantly improved.
Better.
The contrast, right? Like it looks rich and deep, right?
Right. Yeah. So no, it's that's what an extra year of development gives you. We were supposed to be playing this game holiday of last year. Now we're playing holiday this year. And the big concern people had was, hey, this game doesn't look so good. Right. And I always said, like, the gameplay looked fire. Even last year. Like, the gameplay looked fire. And then we got to play the multiplayer, and everyone's like, damn, the multiplayer is tight. The sandbox that they've created with, like, the grapple hook and the repulsor and all that stuff is going to be incredible. And you get the sense of that while watching the trailer. Like, they just build this sandbox, here are all the tools, and go have fun and play it however way you want. You don't want to do side missions? You don't have to do side missions. You don't want to go rescue Forte and Colteastwood up in the mountains that are tied up and then say, hey, you're safe, get in the Jeep, and then fly the Jeep off the Grand Canyon? You don't have to do that if you don't want to. So no, it looks a lot better. It's definitely way improved. People shouting downgrade like they were for Forza Horizon 5. Like, Forza Horizon 5's downgraded. It's like, really? You think so? Okay. No, it looks good. I wouldn't say it looks like, I don't know, like an Xbox Series X title. A next gen only game. It's
not like this game was supposed to come out on the Xbox One and One X. Right? Yeah. I mean, that was the plan for a long time. We saw in 2019, we saw the final trailer with the UNSC pilot. Like that game was supposed to come out the next year. So yeah, it's a cross-generation game. There's I got to say something because Forte said something about I forgot how you say his name, but the brute leader.
Who knows?
I don't know. Craig 2.0.
Yeah. The whole at the very end they showed a better looking brute leader, but this was kind of crazy. The friend of ours shared that and said, "Oh, look, it's improved." But then the community manager for 343 spoke up immediately when someone put them side by side on Twitter and said, "Oh, hold on, that thing you saw today was pre-rendered. It wasn't in engine." Rand, why did they do that? Why did they this was one of the things
they try to be super transparent right now.
Yeah, I mean they have to get ahead of this stuff, and as soon as that stuff comes up, they have to stop it. Like, we got to let people know this is not in game. Why? Rand, why did they use a pre-rendered character when the whole game is in engine? We haven't talked about it. There's a seamless camera. When you're in cutscene, the camera will swing around and get behind you into the hand of the gun with Master Chief, like you're ready to go. It's seamless like God of War. Why would they show a pre-rendered character?
Because it looked good.
Does it look good? Do you guys think it looked better? I just felt like it looked like the same character from 2020. Maybe I'm the only one with this opinion. I feel like that it was the same model we saw, same level of detail, but it had chromatic aberration over it, and then it had digital distortion from like he was being streamed in on a teleprompter. I don't know. I just thought, why did they do that? Now we have to deal with that problem.
I mean, we don't have to deal with any problem. We're gonna play Halo.
That's true.
That's true. I'm not sitting there I'm not worried about them showing a 1 second snippet of a out of engine cutscene or whatever how it is. Like, I don't care. That's not something I'm worried about.
Ray, you're not afraid of the pixel police?
Who cares about you mean those losers? No, I'm not afraid of them.
Those guys with their Nokias and they zoom in on a picture and put it on social media
4,000%
on a dot matrix printer. Yeah, I feel like there's more to that story, right? I don't know if you saw the tweet from John Junasek Forte, but he said that wasn't an in-engine character model, but we have more to show. Stay tuned, something like that. So I think he's saying we have him improved. We're just not ready to show him yet because he's going to be he's going to be the mustache twirling villain with the 90s beatnik goatee, like he's got the Hootie and the Blowfish thing going on.
No, you're right, and that was the same thing. That's like in my one tweet I said I was going to put out and not talk about it anymore. I literally said we will see more. I said not knowing anything. I said we will confidently see more of this game before launch when it comes to the single player, and that's mostly because I just feel like with them dropping this trailer or not trailer, but this overview like out of nowhere. They basically said we want to get campaign out there. We want it to be out there so we're not being beat upside our head. And then we get up to this fever pitch of people thinking, all right, November 15th is right around the corner. Everybody gonna be expecting it. So you know what? Let's get it out now because I think they have so many other things around Halo that they want to plan and talk about. That's going to lead up to that day too, which is also going to include more stuff when it comes to the campaign. They want people to know this is what the campaign looks like. We're not giving you really any story elements or anything like that. We're going to give you what the sandbox plays like. But outside of that, we're going to get so much more information over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks. People are going to be like, I honestly, people are going to be tired and say, I don't want to know anything else about Halo because I just want to wait to play the game at this point. But I want to go back to the whole thing you were talking about with the year delay. I think the year delay, when it comes to the graphics, I think the graphics probably were minimum of what they did during that year delay.
I agree. That's stuff we're not talking about.
I think they spent more time fleshing out that open world more than anything else. I think that's why they showed it off like they showed it off, because I think story-wise, they already pretty much had that set. I think they just probably put some stuff on the cutting room floor. They probably added and reshot some stuff. Not as much as people probably think they did, but I think in general, graphically, They just did the little things they needed to do to make it work better and look better, like lighting, which did amazing things for the game.
Yes.
But that open world, I think that's where they really spent a lot of time. Because that was the one thing we saw when we first saw, like, when you were going up the elevator in the original reveal.
Yeah.
All you saw was just open landscape, but nothing going on in the world. So
yeah, right, that's true. Yeah.
And that's what people
there's some birds. Some George Lucas birds.
Ones, yeah, and the further they got out, the draw distance took them away. So I think they fixed a lot of that type of stuff. Before,
yeah, you don't spend a year. That's such a good shout, Forte, because you don't spend a year working on graphics. And what we saw today was a massive playground of opportunity. Like they showed all these different ways. I got to say something that I said to Rand earlier today. PlayStation gets really praised for their animations in the game. Like when you play Spider-Man game, there are times when the game takes over for you and your character does something really cool, like does a spin, a move, a kick, and like a special move, and then controls come back to you. But in a game like Halo, you're constantly in control doing that. Like if you grapple a Banshee, hijack, pull the elite out and fling him behind you, take in the Banshee and do a barrel roll and come down, jump out and use your rocket launcher. Like that's stuff that you are in full control of. You have to have sticks and face buttons and triggers on the ready. So you are in full control of doing incredible things in Halo, where in a more polished and produced thing that you see in PlayStation, I may get hated on this because I love Spider-Man to death. That was my favorite game of 2018 next to Red Dead 2, Rand. So when you see those impressive things that PlayStation does, like they're doing with Horizon Forbidden West, you're not in control for those really cool looking moments. They're quick times without a quick time button. So, but I love that stuff. I love that production value. But when you're playing Halo, you're doing those things. Shout out to over 950 people watching Xbox Newscast or XNC Podcast. I'm here with Randall Thor 19, one of the biggest Xbox guys in the community, million gamer score plus. He's got an excellent YouTube channel. I'm here with Forte. He's on the podcast scene. He's Mr. GameStop. He is
the podcast. He's on every podcast.
He's so good that he just drops in when he feels like it. Yeah. We love Forte.
And then he added your show to his repertoire. Now, you know.
And just like he's got the armband and he just puts a little mark on there and he's got it all taken care of. But
man, y'all funny.
You'll enjoy it. But thank you so much for showing up at the show. I got to ask you, Rand, because Gaming Forte kind of led with this. They dropped this out of nowhere. Because you called me yesterday. Like, we were expecting Halo Infinite gameplay to be shown on the 20th anniversary. So tell us what you were doing on a Sunday afternoon, like how this hit you.
It wasn't even Sunday afternoon. It was Sunday night. It was a lazy Sunday night at 7 p.m. Microsoft's like, oh, by the way, Halo campaign tomorrow. Be here super early, 6 a.m. Pacific. And I'm just like, huh? You're going to give the campaign, the thing that everybody's been waiting for over a year, that you didn't show really at last year's E3 or this year's E3.
Yep.
You're going to be, not only are you showing it tomorrow, you're giving only people 12-hour heads up. 12 hours?
Gosh.
And then, like, okay, not only that.
Does that scream confidence or does it scream we don't have confidence?
I don't know, but then it's like, I think a bad time, like 6 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. Now, maybe if you want to factor in the rest of the world, it's good time.
Eastern, baby.
But it's like, why not have it at noon?
They usually drop their Xbox wires at 6 or 7 a.m. my time.
True, but this is something that people have been waiting for. So I just thought like the build-up was weird, like just the day before and super early. But whatever, it's a 6-minute trailer. I'm glad they did it though, because if they didn't do it, people would be waiting with bated breath for the 20th anniversary. And who knows what the 20th anniversary is going to be like. It may just be a look back at the history of Xbox, right? We may just get back-and-pack games and, FPS boosts on certain titles and maybe just a look back at Halo, not necessarily a look forward. So,
yeah.
I think it's smart to get it out now, honestly. Like, I think perception around Halo has definitely... It's weird. I don't know if there's ever been a game where people were hyped. You go back to the initial 2018 reveal, and remember, it was the first thing shown. People were wondering what it was, right? And then you see the Master Chief with that note, the dun dun, and then the Ride of the Warthog. Everyone's, and then Halo Infinite for the first time with all the blue lights shining up, and people were, Halo Infinite's coming, right? And then the next year you got a new trailer. I think it was like Deliver Hope, and everyone's like, "F yeah, this is amazing! Can't wait!" Yeah. And then the next year we got the gameplay demo. So everybody was high on Halo for 2 years, and then we got the trailer last year, and everybody just did a 180. Was like, no, and it created this worldwide meme that people still use. That you just put on your new T-shirt, by the way. The Craig shirt T-shirt, right? Yeah. And everybody was down on Halo. And everybody was down on Xbox because everybody was down on Halo. Because Halo is Xbox and Xbox is Halo, right?
Yeah, it's not fun for us when we're trying to talk and report on the stuff,
And then, magically, people got to play the game. People got to play the multiplayer and the flights. And people did a 180 again. Oh my God, this is amazing. The multiplayer
Halo's trending.
So incredible. Big team battles, the shiz. The grapple hook is incredible, right?
It's not a gimmick. Yeah, it feels great. People are doing unbelievable things with the grapple hook.
Yeah,
I got to ask Forte. Forte, is them dropping this 12-hour notice on a Sunday evening? Does it scream, we're pretty confident, but we're not sure if we're going to fall on our face? What are you getting from that last-minute premiere?
Oh man, it screams to me. Xbox was like 343. You out of time? What you got? We need to get this out here so we can move forward and not have to be lollygagging around with the 20th anniversary and have even because like Rand's right. I think the closer you get to the 20th anniversary, at that point, that was my prediction. I was like, if we don't see anything before then, it's going to be we're not going past that date. The 20th anniversary is the date that you will inevitably see campaign. And if you didn't see it until the 20th, can you imagine it's already scrutiny around the game. Can you imagine how much more scrutiny people would have for the game? It would have had to almost be it would have had to been beyond picture perfect on the 20th anniversary. So at least by getting this out now, they said, okay, this is the campaign overview. It's not strictly campaign gameplay. It's basically showing you the sandbox and everything like that. But now we can go a little bit deeper the closer we get to the 20th anniversary. If they do want to put some more nuggets out there about the campaign and start talking about that stuff, they could be more focused on it because now it's not, well, I just want to see the campaign. Well, tell me more about the campaign. And now people are like kind of listening and more interested in what they got to say because either you loved it or you hated it or you're just indifferent because that's what I kind of seen on Twitter. A lot of people like, oh, this isn't what I kind of want. And I'm like, okay, well, what were you looking for? Blah, blah, blah. And that's a whole nother thing right there. Xbox was in a lose-lose situation with this one anyways because people are just super excited to see what they got to show for it. And it's been a year since we've seen it. So I think they had to do something because it would have got even worse if they would have waited longer and longer.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the way they showed this preview because we were speculating last night, like, how are they going to do this? Are they going to show a long, extended one cut of, like, being out in the world? Are they going to do a bunch of montages with music and not say anything? I want to get into that in a minute, but Space Stovakin, thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, is that Jez's partner from Xbox 2? Of course, he knows who you are, Rand.
That's the whole thing. Is like, it's Jez's podcast, right? I'm just the dude on it. It's on some dude's channel. His name's Randall Chop Liver. Right, Jez is the man. He's the host. And
Forte, we always give Rand a hard time because Jez will break some super tasty news, and every outlet on the internet will say, on Xbox 2, Windows Central Jez Corden said that this game is going to... Wu-Tang Clan is making a game. And then they never mention Rand. And we're like, come on!
On Jez's podcast, the Xbox 2.
You know what?
On the Xbox Mail.
You know why that is? Because Rand don't turn the camera on his podcast and people don't know what he looks like. So they're sitting there like, well, Jez is the authority when it comes to news and announcements because he works for Windows Central. Who is this other person with this bearded
his face.
This avatar that he got on the screen? So it's like he's not relatable. We know who Jez is because Jez writes articles and everything. Who's Rand? He's just a YouTuber.
Oh, that's terrible to say that.
Well,
Rand is so much more.
Rand knows how I feel about him. Rand is like the best thing that's ever happened to YouTube when it comes to Xbox, next to you, Colton,
and me. He's the best thing that happened to me.
Yeah, exactly. So, if Rand was to turn on that, that $1,000 camera he got sitting on top of his computer right now, he probably get a little bit more clout on his own show.
He could reach over right now and turn it on if the chat would. I'm just kidding.
Many times I don't have a camera. I don't have a webcam.
I'm going to buy him one. Now, Rand and I have talked about it behind the scenes. He's not ready. When he's ready, he'll make his big debut on his channel if he's ready, if he wants to. But you know what Rand says, chat? He says, the moment I do it, they're going to go, oh, cool. And then they're like, oh, we're used to it. So it's all up to you, chat. It's all up to you, big fans of Randall Thor. The 85,000 people. What are you at right now on your YouTube channel?
Like 84 something.
Yeah, look at that. All 84,000 plus of you. Send him a love letter and tell him to put that camera on, and then he will make it in an article for comicbook.com.
The only time I made it in an article was I had wrong information about freaking Starfield. Like the one time I was wrong about something, and they're like, Randall Thor says this. I'm like, oh my god. Right?
Honestly, a lot of people thought that game was coming out earlier than it was, but who cares? But I'll remember that one. Who said I was wrong? But it's like such a problem in the community. The one Dying Light 2 being exclusive is like my biggest L that I have to carry with me, and the L shape just fits nicely over the shoulder as I carry that around. And I have to deal with it. But shout out to Meat Puppet 007 for the $5 super chat. Thank you, Meat Puppet. He says, Colt, these are his words, not mine, Forte. So you can't get mad at me. But he says, Colt, once all PlayStation games come to PC, all the ponies' heads will explode if they didn't already.
It's already happening.
the heads exploding and the PC games.
Listen,
both of those things.
It's been happening for quite some time now. Have you seen some of the timelines of some of these PlayStation people over the course of the last month?
I've seen them yelling into their smartphones on Twitter. I've seen the spaces.
Even the PlayStation community itself is divided. We got the pony side of it. We got the genuine gamers that are PlayStation gamers, and then we got the Pegasus Nation too. So there's like a lot of infighting inside of the community itself. Xbox, we just we're all strong. We just stick together.
Pega who?
Yeah.
Oh, you shut up. You already
Pega who?
Pega who? Oh, Pega. I ain't gonna say it on this podcast.
Fly, Pegasus. Fly. I'll say it. I don't care. Fly away.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, they're having a good time. Bless them for
too, bro. Website and everything.
They have the official scroll that you sign with. You have to sign it with the thermal paste from the PS5.
Oh Lord!
So yeah, no, they're having a good time. But what's super important, Forte and Rand, is like you talk about the stuff you like. Like there's so much to talk about with the stuff you like. And this goes to Flame for the $5 super chat. He says, I can't wait to see Preston Garvey from Fallout 4 in Halo Infinite. Chief, there's a settlement that needs your help. I'll mark it on the map.
Yeah. So, I do have a question for y'all. I know especially you, because you play a lot of Assassin's Creed. How do you feel about because we saw health bars on these enemies now?
On the bosses, right?
On the bosses, on the mini bosses, which I think is cool that they actually.
I was paying attention.
Shout out to you because you always pay attention. But
no, I don't.
But well, you ain't supposed to say it live. You're supposed to go along with it. But for real, what do you think about that? Because I think it's really cool that they're adding that type of element to the game. It's something that Halo hasn't had before. So what do you guys actually think about that?
Can I go first, Rand?
Go ahead. Go first.
I don't know why I'm a sucker for health bars, and maybe you guys might agree with me when I say this, but there's something that like Borderlands does it, Mass Effect does it. There's something satisfying about what doesn't Far Cry 6 do it? There's something satisfying about watching the health bar go it just chunked down to nothing as you're putting damage on, knowing when you're about to get the final kill from like burst fire or single shot or sustained like SMG fire. There's something that's really satisfying to me about watching the health bar go down as you're fighting an enemy floating over their head. And I know some people hate the health bar, but I think I like it. Rand, what's your take on the health bar?
I'm okay with health bar on certain enemies. Like, I really don't like it in Far Cry 6 or anything, like where each enemy has a health bar, right?
Yeah.
I don't like that. But if you're talking about, hey, this, you better watch out with this dude. This dude can kill you. Where it's like, okay, now it's like a mini boss or a secret boss somewhere. So
that's like a warning when you see it. You're saying,
so
right?
It's like, okay, this isn't your regular Craig where you can just shoot him 5 times and he dead. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to use the tools at your disposal to get his shields down or whatever he's using and get his health down. So I do think that's an interesting take on it, and I'm for it as long as there's no health bars on all the rest of the enemies. Like I'm okay with there being a health bar on some of these stronger like bosses types. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Forte, are you a health bar nut?
I mean, I play Destiny. That game's nothing but health bars.
That's right. Yeah, it is. Is it part of like that satisfying feeling?
He's absolutely right. It's like when it's just like, doing raids and stuff in Destiny. When you see that health bar get to less than 2%, and you're like, all right, who's gonna be the person that lands this final blow? Especially in a setting like that, I think it's exhilarating. It's like you get excited, and the funny thing is that's when most mistakes happen in fights. When you get
confident,
when you get that health bar so low that you feel like, all right, I just need to run in there and get this last hit, and then he hits you with that one stun move that just knocks you out, and you like, I should have just been patient. So I always thought playing a game that has health bars makes you a more patient gamer because you got to kind of pace yourself throughout a fight. But I'm with Rand. As long as every enemy ain't got it, I already got a game that does that. But when I saw the health bar, I was like, that's interesting. That is a health bar on that brute's head. But if that's how they're going to go about the like separating the fights between like regular minions and high tier bosses and stuff, I'm 100% in for that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. What we've seen, there's no health bars on the regular enemies. Just like as Rand said, it's like that warning, like this dude's bad, and you better be ready.
He's even got a name.
He's got a name. Yeah, you got a named enemy.
This dude's got an actual name with some health bars. You better watch out, Master Chief.
Handsome Craig 32. Yeah. Somebody in the chat said we got to do a Handsome Craig. So I got to draw up a cartoon of Handsome Craig in the vein of a handsome Squidward. Like I think that would be that'd be something to get nicely tattooed on the shoulder. Forte, you want me to do that for you? So you get that
down.
Handsome Craig.
Hey.
We got let's see, we got Hectic World, thank you so much for the $5. He says, how can you have an open world without copying an open world like Far Cry or Just Cause? It's new to Halo, so for him, he's saying it's different enough. We do hear that a lot. Like, who was it that said, I think it was Solid Rev. I watched his video. Him and his son sat down and they did like a live reaction after they watched the trailer. And his son said the grappling hook's cool, but it's been in other games, but I'm excited for it. And Solid Rev said, he's awesome. Go follow Solid Rev. Check out his channel. He's like, he just tells it how it is. But he says, like, it's new to me. It's new to Halo. That's a new experience. So he's excited about something that has been in other games. So,
and that's what I think Xbox and 343 are banking on. That's why I think the direction that they're going. For me, I feel like the direction they're going in this open sandbox arena is kind of what Halo needed to be. It doesn't change the fact that the story narrative will still be there, but what are you doing around that story narrative is what actually matters the most. And I think this is a good direction for them to take it in.
Yeah. So we always think about that. And it's okay to have something that you've done before that's new to a game because there's going to be new ways to do this. Let's talk about the grapple shot for a second, Rand, because you and Forte discovered something that I missed on the 6 times I watched it. And as soon as you said it, I knew. But this grapple shot, like, is this something that if you want, you can keep it on you at all times like I did with the jetpack in Halo Reach?
That was a question I have, and I wasn't too sure. I wonder, because you can upgrade all the different things. Like we saw the upgrade screen, and it's the equipment from the game, right? The thrusters, the grapple hook, looks like the shields, and like the dart that you send out to ping enemies. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if you're just gonna have to like pick and choose which ones you want to use, or if
one
it's
at
on
a time,
cooldown,
right?
like, hey, you can use the grapple hook, but it's on a cooldown. I would imagine it's probably a pickup, because you'd be pretty damn OP if you could use the grapple hook and combined with the repulsor, combined with all the other tools that you can use. So I'm gonna imagine you pick that stuff up, but it'd be interesting seeing what all the upgrades are for it, because when I was watching it and he basically grapple hooked a brute and electrocuted him, where he stunned him, I was like, oh, all right. And then it kind of went whole thing.
He's like,
yeah, it was really cool. Like there's a purpose, there's a reason why you would want to go out and take over these bases to make yourself even more of a badass. So I don't know if they've talked about that, about the equipment use in the campaign.
No.
Or if people have like blown up like maybe like the image to see like, oh, well, it shows only 2 shots left, so you'd have to replenish it. It'd be interesting to see how that works.
That's what I don't know. Like, Forte, what do you think? Do you think you can keep it with you, but it has to cool down between uses? Or do you think Rand's onto something? Because I didn't think of that, Rand. Like, do you have to go find another grapple shot to get another 4 grapples?
So,
replenish it.
Yeah, when he said that kind of instantly clicked in my head. I was like, yeah, that's probably what they're going to do. But I also think that when it comes to the different charge shots, like the electric one, there's probably going to be different elements. It's going to be more than just electric in there too. I think you're going to upgrade that, and you're going to have different ways you can use it inside of there. So when you take out these different fortresses, you can get like upgrades to the grapple. So maybe there's a fire one in there too. Maybe there's the electric one in there. Maybe there could be a poison one there. Who knows? What they can go kind of anywhere they want with that. So you always had the grapple shot on you. You do have to find ammo for it, but the thing that's going to differentiate it from the different areas you're in is the use case you do it in. So maybe this section you will use the electric one, or maybe there will be a fire one. Maybe it could be a dark corridor and you're fighting enemies in there, and you shoot your grapple shot down the hall at something, and it lights up the whole room, and we get that fake ray tracing that we're not going to get in the game at day one. So,
oh my gosh!
So there's a lot of things that they can do with it. I think, in a game like this where the sandbox is so open, there is a lot of different possibilities. But if I had to like put money on it, Rand kind of just said exactly what I think is going to happen. You're always going to have the actual capability of having it, but will you have ammo to actually use it? And that's what it's going to probably come down to.
Yeah, I mean, in Halo Reach, you could keep using the jetpack as long as you didn't swap out your equipment. I got to get this super. Yeah. I got to give it the super chat from Toonces the Cat says, for $5, he says, meow. Shout out to all the cat fans out there. Yeah. I've got 2 dogs that are the size of cats, so now that doesn't put me on the same register as the cat fans, but shout out to Toonces the Cat for that super chat. Something that not a lot of us have been talking about. Here's another big mystery, because they showed us a lot of stuff, and we'll try and cover it, guys, but you get a lot of information, and when you start to discuss this, Rand, we got to talk about these Spartan cores, and they explain nothing about them. But Spartan cores are your commodity, your resource they're your upgrade perk for your equipment. Did you catch this when you were covering the video?
I did see that. Yeah, that's what you're going to upgrade.
So use your best. I've played a lot of Halo games. I think I know what 343 is going for. Tell us, what in the heck are the Spartan cores? Where are we going to find them? Like, what is the deal with them?
I would imagine you probably would get some for completing some of the campaigns, so you can upgrade some of your abilities. But I think the majority of them, if you do want to like upgrade Chief's all of his abilities, like every single one, you're probably going to have to like go out and complete the keeps and the strongholds and stuff. Yep. And maybe, who knows, maybe they're even like collectibles on the map. Right?
Are they like fusion cores? Like, you're onto it, because I haven't given this much thought, but Rand, you're onto it, right? That maybe once you take an outpost out, you go over and you pull a lever and a Spartan core comes out and you add it to your inventory. Dang, that's really smart. Or is it like Crackdown where you have to find it hidden somewhere, and once you grab it, it's like one Spartan, your AI, your new Cortana says Spartan core acquired, and then the agent.
They could do it multiple ways. They're probably definitely going to give some to you during the main gameplay, right? So you can level yourself up at some point. Microtransactions. But I think if you want to fully lever yourself up, you're probably going to have to complete the strongholds and the keeps. And there might be some instances of like, hey, there's a hidden cache from a downed pelican that you find randomly in the world.
Awesome.
And in that pelican, there may be like 2 or 3 Spartan cores. Because I would imagine it's not just going to be one Spartan core. Because I think in the video, it was like, to level it up to the next thing, you needed 3 Spartan cores. Right? So there might be things you find in the world. I wonder if that's how they'll go about it. But I think the majority of them you'll have to like get from the keeps or something.
Okay. Forte, what do you think? Do you think Rand's onto it with the Spartan core? Do you have your own theory?
So I think he's 100% on, but I also think they're going to use the multiplayer component to actually gain them through the pass that way too. Because the way that they're doing this game, at some point, even Jason Staten did talk about this. He said at a certain point that you will be going into the world with your Spartan. It's not. Who knows how long down the line this is? Because we know this is
with your multiplayer Spartan, like your custom gear and everything.
He also talked about that. It was a while ago. He talked about how the multiplayer character will actually like progress into this like the open world. Like they didn't say if it was going to be like in a single player aspect, but maybe there's going to be another version of the game where you can actually take your Spartan and go into the open world and play in that sandbox. I could definitely see that being a possibility. Maybe when Forge comes out, that's probably when they actually do it like that. But I think there's going to be many different ways for you to get these cores. I think the most traditional way is going to be more through the forward operation bases, which are the FOBs that you can take over and everything. I think that's the main way because you're going to get caches from those, and those caches are going to unlock, 1, 2, 3, depending on how hard it is. I think they're going to have areas that are going to be kind of, now I'm not going to say gatekeeped, but there's going to be higher end enemies in these certain areas. So if you can go into a stronghold that is like significantly more powerful than you are and beat those areas, you probably get rewarded by the difficulty of what you actually do them at too. So if you like how Assassin's Creed, like you over level something, you don't get the same amount of XP or the same amount of goods that you would get if you beat it if it's a higher level. I think that's going to kind of be how they do it inside of Halo Infinite too. But in general, it's going to be mostly just scattered about the world. You'll find them in like caves, fallen pelicans all over the place. When you go up to like certain, like the Salacos and the UNSC.
Broken mini fridges.
There might be one. There might be an actual mini fridge in there that you can actually take one out of. It'll be guess what? It will be a can of Surge from 2001.
Oh, gross.
It'll be the refrigerator will say Surge on it, and it will be part of the 20th anniversary Easter egg. Because anybody that doesn't know, Surge was the official drink when Xbox launched. The first time.
Oh, it was. Oh my gosh, that stuff.
It was. I was there in New York when they did it for the first time.
Surge. Oh my gosh,
disgusting.
That's classic. I remember having Surge in like '98. I didn't know it was still persisting into the era of Halo. Oh my gosh, Rand, do you think that Forte's right? I can't imagine them having a level system where enemies are a certain level that you have to. I just don't know if that's even built into the world. Do you think that's something we're going to see?
I would want to say no. I would hope not. I don't really particularly like games that do that, where you can't go to a certain area until you're a certain level. But maybe it is. I don't know. I just don't think we know too much.
That's the thing. We don't know.
Does leveling up your equipment like level up your overall level? I'm not sure, because the equipment, like, it doesn't help. Like, it helps you get around. Like, the grapple hook will help you get around, but it doesn't like make your gun do more damage. So if you're like, I think the gun will just stay the same. So I don't really think it's going to be gatekeep by level. Maybe it's gatekeep by story. Like, oh, you can't go over in this area until you beat this main mission here, and then the next part opens up or something, and that's how they'll do it. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we know more about the campaign than we ever did, but now there's still a lot more question
So many
marks.
questions,
We still don't know about.
I was not expecting that, Rand. I wasn't expecting to see 6 or 7 minutes of like a ton of different scenarios and then come out with what in the heck else is going on in that game. Holy smokes. Yeah, there's a lot of questions now. We talked about yesterday how I think it's going to let you see the game as you would like a natural progression, like Ghost of Tsushima did, where they just went around the world in one long continuous loop. But I think the creativity they've shown is what really has excited people. I got to ask you guys, like, how are people feeling about Halo? Because we had a couple people drop into the chat and say no one cares about Halo when we know millions and millions and millions care about Halo. Ren, how many people are going to be jumping on this game in December?
I mean, a lot. I don't know the exact number, but with it being free to play on Xbox as well as on PC, it's going to have more players playing that first day and that weekend than in the history of Halo. And there's going to be millions. Now, whether it's 5 million the first week or 8 million and 10 million by the end of the first month or something, it's probably going to set player record numbers for Halo. And yeah, I mean, we've talked about how Halo hasn't been Halo since 2007's Halo 3, when it was at its peak of the height of its popularity. But I still think, even with the number of consoles the Xbox has sold between the Xbox One and the Series X and the S, and with it being on PC, I think we're gonna see a resurgence of Halo, and they're gonna have more people playing than they ever had, ever at any given time before, simply because of the free-to-play nature of it. So,
and what device are you going to play Halo Infinite on, Randall Thor?
Oh, my Xbox Series X, sir.
Okay, Forte, where are you going to be playing Halo Infinite day one?
Series X.
Series X, yeah, me too. Yeah, that's crazy. There's a lot of platforms. A lot more people can access it. Halo 5 was on the Xbox One, and not a lot of people were buying that when it came out. Shout out to Flash Gordon with the $2 super chat. He says, can't wait to play God of War on my Xbox via NVIDIA GeForce. Is that really going to be possible?
I mean, I think so. Because I think it's unblocked now on the Xbox Chromium Edge browser, right? So unless Sony did something to block it, I did see Tom Warren say that for whatever reason Death Stranding didn't work or something.
When he tried it?
Yeah,
because it had to play it through Steam or something, didn't it? I don't know. I don't mess with that stuff. Like, I don't know. The whole thing about these games going to PC, really, does it matter? Like, I've got a great PC down here, but I'd just rather play on the consoles. That's just how I've always been. I was never mad when Quantum Break was going to PC. In fact, I was like, hey, I get 2 for the price of 1. Shout out to Lord Star Killer, Xbox Series X01, a friend of the channel, friend of Rand's channel. Forte, you see this guy around.
Absolutely.
He's amazing. He's been a channel member for 12 months. He's got the Ori emoji. He says, great XNC podcast. Really enjoying Gaming Forte and the man with a million, Randolph Thor. He's got the achievement, the Craig emoji, the Master Chief, and an Xbox logo. Jedi Knight Peter with an Australian $10. Thank you so much, Jedi Knight Peter. He says, Craig 2.0 is the new Cortana. Halo is king. Is Master Chief back? Like, I saw this Return of the King meme today, where he looks like he's holding a sword, but he's holding like his battle rifle, and he's got his head down. Is Halo back, guys?
Is Halo back? Two.
Whew.
Oh man,
you're about to say it's too early to tell.
It is too early to tell. It's still too early to tell because everybody knows my feelings on 343. I feel like 343 was given the keys to a kingdom that they did not deserve when they first got it. I felt like I'm 100% in on that, man. Listen, the reason
why? I mean, weren't there some people from Bungie that were still there when?
Yes, there were, but most of them didn't go. Okay, so this was my whole problem with. I liked Halo 4.
I'm going to sit back for this one.
I liked Halo 4. Halo 4 actually had a really good campaign. Some people didn't like it. Multiplayer was terrible.
Most of the campaign was really great. The end was, for me.
Yeah, it was like kind of
fell apart,
but it was great.
but it was a looker.
Oh yeah,
it was a looker.
Almost all the campaign was great. Go forward. Go forward.
Halo 5, everybody, consistently, and I think there's a unisys that campaign was to be desired because they didn't tell the truth about it in a story where they say hunt the truth. So that's how I felt about that one. Multiplayer was fine. My biggest thing with 343 is 2013, or it might have been 2014, Master Chief Collection comes out. Destiny is out. I hate, listen, I'm going on my soapbox about this Destiny thing one more time. I hated that game. Hated it. It was Bungie's my favorite developer. I was enamored by the fact that Bungie was making a brand new shooter, and I thought I was going to get the love that I got from the Halo franchise when it came to story. And guess what? That didn't happen out the gate. That didn't happen. And I was done with that game. I was like, as soon as Master Chief Collection comes out, I'm gone. I'm out of here. Never playing this game again. And guess what happened, Colt? Master Chief Collection came out, and we couldn't even play the game. And guess what? We couldn't even play the game for 2 to 3 years. The game finally gets fixed. Guess what? Not on an Xbox platform, Colt. Not on Xbox. They fixed it on PC first. They fixed the game on PC. Yep. Then they fixed it on Xbox. So at that point, I was like, I guess I love Destiny more than I thought I did, because truly 343 didn't love me because they didn't give me a Halo game that will take me away from it. So I just haven't been a fan. Like, I respect them because developing video games is hard. It's really hard. And I will never take the craft and say that I know what it's like to be in those shoes. I was super freaking disappointed because I didn't get the experiences I wanted over the course of the Xbox One generation in Halo. That's what I was super disappointed in. But ultimately, they can fix all of that in the next next 2 months when this game launches. And if it hits those heartstrings, like I tell people, when we saw Master Chief space, when Master Chief was float through space, kicking Covenant out of the way, hugging and looking at the Marines as they were, dead in space and wondering like what happened here. The music was playing. I felt a certain way, and I haven't felt that way about Halo since like Halo 3. So they have the opportunity to bring a lot of people back to Halo. They do. With this game, they have a lot of opportunities. It just comes down to them executing it. Don't give me the multiplayer is fire. We know that's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We all played it. Big team battle's fine. We're even willing to overlook the fact that campaign won't be there day one. Me personally, doesn't bother me, but a lot of people are overlooking the fact that, campaign won't be here, still going to be a fire game. But that story has to hit on all cylinders. If it doesn't, we got a problem. And then that's where the wait and see thing happens at. Because we can't play the campaign until the game comes out, Colt. That's the thing about this. The game is in Game Pass, so there is no reason for people not to try the game. Even if you got $1 in your pocket, Xbox is allowing you to play this game in December when it comes out. So I don't want to hear anybody's excuses about, I don't want to play the game because, this and that, blah, blah, blah. No, try Halo out, see if it's something that you like, because I truly believe this is the final opportunity, not for Halo, but for 343 to give us the experience we want, because there will probably be massive changes at 343 if this doesn't go off the way it needs to go.
Oh yeah. Oh,
there
that's
will be massive
true.
changes. If this game doesn't hit, there will be massive changes.
Somebody else might be taking on Halo. If
I honestly think that probably already happened. Honestly,
I mean, you gave one heck of a speech, and Rand was sitting there eating Triscuits, like taking it all in. And I want to go to Rand here in a second, because Rand has a totally different perspective, but Rand's always down to earth, just like Forte's take. Like, he doesn't pull any punches, right? Let me get to Rand here in a second. Let's see. We got Lord Starkiller. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. He says, priceless video reactions by some ponies when they found out God of War was coming to PC. Yeah, we covered that pretty well, but they'll get used to it. Like, Jim Ryan's warming up that boiling pot, nice and slow. They'll get used to it. Risk It for the Biscuit with the Australian $8 super chat. Thank you, Risk It. He says, I saw him in the chat saying he does not like Destiny or Destiny 2. Everybody has their games they don't like, but he says personally, as long as they nail the story as it fits in the open world, they continue to support the campaign as long as it's promised. Destiny who, he says. But I don't know, Forte, you might want to arm wrestle him later on that.
Destiny who, huh?
Destiny who? Destiny is listen, man. Destiny's been around for 7 years. It still has over 2.5 to 3 million people that play it daily. So
2.5 million drug addicts.
You used to be one of them. You used to be one of them.
I was never one of them.
Yes, you was. You was. When I bought it, look, you was crying in the Discord like, y'all supposed to be running me through raids and y'all ain't even playing with me. Why am I playing this game? Come on, Rand.
That's because Rand PUBG had run its course and Rand needed a new game he was hooked on. Yeah.
That man jumped into Destiny with us. He's like, we ran him through the Forsaken campaign and everything. He's like, this is crazy. This is fun. And
I'm with you, Forte.
It's fun.
I didn't like the first one, and the second one, when I first play it, it feels like the same thing. I just didn't give it a shot. I hate it when I don't give a game a shot. Brandon the man with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Brandon. He says, how long do you think the campaign will be for Halo? Oh, this is like a contentious question. Will there be story DLC later? Shout out to Rand. Love your vids. Colt, your videos suck. Keep it up. No,
That's
Rand,
true.
your videos are awesome. Shout out to Brandon the man for giving Rand the love. He's got Brandon. Hopefully you've checked out Rand's video before the show. If not, it's not going anywhere. It's going to be there tonight. I'm sure it's gathering up views. But Rand and Forte, how long is the Halo campaign? Now it's just a guess, but indulge us.
Are we talking about the whole thing, the thing that we gonna get on December 8th?
The whole cat pajamas, yeah.
Because if we're talking about the thing we're going to get on December 8th, 12, 13 hours, December 8th.
Chat, go ahead and start writing the number. Chat, write the number in the chat while these guys are mulling over their crazy number.
I think 12 to 13 hours, but that's also with some exploration inside of the sandbox, because you got to go from place to place and you're going to get stuck going from place to place doing side stuff. But if you just want to say just blitz the campaign, 8 hours.
Okay, that's normal, right?
I mean, that's a pretty decent length. I mean, if you're playing on legend, what's heroic or whatever?
Heroic.
Normal and easy. You can
you'll beat that in 4 hours.
Yeah, because you could beat Halo 5 on normal in 4 hours.
In
4
you
hours.
can?
Yeah. You can. Yeah, it's quick.
There's 8 levels or something.
Two of the levels are literally you walking around a cell.
Oh, in a hub world and talking to the lady with one arm, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. As you can see how memorable that was. Forte, you're right. When I think about 4 was really great. Just at that very end. It had so many good... 4 was the one that got me emotional because Cortana was going rampant and Master Chief was coming to terms with it. And then the... what's his name? Starts with a D. I want to say Dovahkiin. The Diadact comes in. I'm like, huh? Rand, what's your number? What's the normal playthrough of the campaign for Halo Infinite as your guess?
I would say, I guess it depends. If you're just gonna mainline it, or if you're gonna do all the side objectives, that's definitely gonna add on to more.
They do averages, right? On open world games, developers say it, right?
Yeah, I guess it depends. I don't know. If you can just mainline the story on normal, which is probably going to be pretty easy, you probably be able to. I would guess probably beat it within 6. But if you're playing it on heroic and legendary and doing as much as you can, yeah, I could imagine you getting a good 12 to 15 out of it. Depending on how big everything is.
Most people are going to try out a little freeform combat and a little bit of exploration. So if you're saying 7 hours, it could be maybe 10.
So
we're all just guessing. But.
I'm if I just so we're talking about an open world and we're talking about a story aspect. If I compare it to something like let's say Witch Queen that comes out for Destiny in November, or even Forsaken, me and Ran and Cognito ran through that. It took us about 4.5 hours to run him in one night, run him through all of Forsaken. And that's just the DLC add-on for Destiny. Now, if you're talking, that was just 4.5 hours just to do just that. You know, not doing anything else, not doing any side stuff, not doing any strikes, just running just straight Forsaken all the way through to 4 hours. Halo's going to be way bigger than that. And that's why I think you're going to be kind of sitting around that 8 hour mark.
Yeah. How much of that time was like converting engrams, like rare greens and
it was blues. A couple of trips to the tower for Red could get his power leveled up because you know he was pitiful back then.
Rand's one of the best. How dare you? Rand is one of the best, most skilled gamers that I've talked to.
I know
he plays.
Yeah, he
plays it like the hard difficulties. Well, listen, he's like, I went through it. I went through these games without dying. Didn't take any damage.
He was one of the few people that actually got the true achievement inside of Destiny 1, where you actually had to beat a raid and not die and get a flawless achievement on it. You know, they don't even have that achievement no more. But because they're just giving achievements away for free now.
That was a pretty tough achievement to do. Not die in the raid. We did it on Vault of Glass, which was
and
we
that's
cheese it like you can do it on Crota.
Some people did do it on Crota.
Super easy on Crota.
I trust myself and not my teammates. That's basically what Crota was like.
I can't believe we're talking about Destiny. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
great game. It's in Game Pass, by the way, y'all. Remember?
Oh, look at that! You're a Destiny stan and you're an Xbox Game Pass stan. Forte.
Hey man, I got 3 years of Xbox Game Pass. I'm gonna use all of it.
I'm stacked up.
Guess what? I'll be playing San Andreas too when it comes out in Game Pass without having to pay for it.
I'm such an idiot. I pre-ordered the trilogy, and then an hour later they tweeted out, "Hey, San Andreas, come to Game Pass." I'm like, "Yipe." That's all right. I want to play. I never finished Vice City, but we're not talking about that game. Love of the game. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, considering Coalition helped. Maybe I wasn't aware of this. I would look to Gears 5 jack upgrades on how Halo's upgrade system might work. I didn't know. I guess maybe I forgot that Coalition helped 343. I think I remember hearing about that now.
Everybody helped 343.
Everybody helped 343 to get this across the finish line.
Yeah, the Crackdown team's like, you need some help with orbs?
I mean, hell, they emailed me and I helped. Cole helped.
Cole helped.
I helped. They put me in the flighting. I helped.
Yeah,
even though nobody
thumbnail for their video.
Yeah.
Well, no,
they're like, hey, we're gonna go live.
Made a thumbnail for the video, been a lot better than the thumbnail than they used.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put that evil on you with that thumbnail.
You know, it's actually their thumbnail today was one I used like 3 months ago when a big Waypoint article came out. It looked a lot like that. I think it was something about Phil is not concerned or something. I don't know what it was. Phil Spencer drops huge bomb. No, that's not what we do. But
hey, I do want. Let me ask y'all this though. When it comes to the sandbox again, campaign being delayed, do you guys? Because for me,
you mean co-op or what?
Co-op. Yeah, co-op.
Co-op campaign.
Yeah, co-op campaign getting delayed. Was it just me, or did you guys like kind of get an understanding of probably why? Looking at the campaign, looking at how open it was, because part of my thought process on why they were doing that is because remember when we played Halo 3, you would play as what was it? All arbiters. It would be the main person playing as the game would be playing as Master Chief, and then your co-op partners would be playing as arbiters, like just copies of them and stuff. What's to say that maybe the reason they're delaying this isn't because it's not ready, it's because they're implementing systems in there when it comes to with your Spartan being such a persistent thing inside the multiplayer, you actually can bring your Spartan into the single player
to play player number 2.
To play player number 2, and you're not playing as an extra copy of Master Chief. And if that's the case, that would kind of bring open a whole nother reason why they had to delay it, because that part of the system isn't ready to do. Because with all the customization that they're bringing into this game and making your Spartan your own, it seems like that would be the most logical direction to go with campaign multiplayer. We'll call it campaign co-op.
I have something to say that I think is partially true that I heard, and nobody's going to like it. But I think one of the reasons why campaign co-op was delayed is because there are technical reasons tied to the Xbox One version that slowed down the possibility or the release date to get campaign co-op running across all of the consoles, PC, and the Xbox One, which is something we don't want to hear because for a long time I have been saying on REX podcast along with Dealer, like we've been a strong proponent of like when you look at how technology and software and hardware work, the Xbox One really shouldn't hold back anything other than performance. But there's something, Rand, where did this come from? Is this something you were telling me and I'm just kind of trying to translate, or have you heard anything like this?
I mean, there was the thing about like potentially the co-op spawns screwing up everything because in Halo, the spawn, like you couldn't sometimes spawn unless somebody was in you were in a safe spot,
safe
like
zone.
So like, but with this game being open world, like where like
tethers,
who's going to spawn, who's going to trigger the checkpoint? Is it the person closest to the like main story mission? Is it first player? And like if the first player is fighting and then the other three people are like somewhere else on the map also fighting, is it going to give you a checkpoint? Or like I was reading there was like maybe potentially a whole bunch of stuff surrounding the checkpoint system and how maybe they couldn't get it right or working properly in time for launch, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, there's not a lot I can say on that because I would just be speculating, but there are technical limitations, and you could see when Joseph Staten and his I can't remember the other guy's name that were on that, like they didn't want to delay campaign co-op. So there was a lot of things happening behind the scenes that were out of their control to meet that date, and yikes. But that's like you're hitting on something great because if Rand was going to join my game, all the cutscenes are fluid and seamless,
right,
with Master Chief at the center of the camera, and then the camera swings around to Master Chief. And if you have your co-op partner, is he in that? He's got to be in that real-time cutscene. It looks dorky to have another green Spartan 117. Man, you're like if they really have the plan to implement your online character. I mean, how do they do that? Like, you can't start online co-op campaign.
I think you would only have the progression up into. I mean, there's different ways they could do it. I think that whatever game you're in, you would have the progression of all the unlocks that person has unlocked in their game already. So you wouldn't like take your multiplayer stuff over to the single player and have like this OP character, or maybe your campaign it's like a separate way. Like however far you win in your campaign, you can go into somebody else's campaign and actually help them out to have a more powerful character. Who knows? But I just always was enamored with the fact that Halo always did it this way, whereas they truly want you to have they're really building this experience for your Spartan to be your Spartan. So where do you see that mostly at? Yeah, you see it in multiplayer, but when you play co-op, it would be cool as heck to have your character with his armor, his color, running next to Master Chief inside a co-op arena and doing all of the things as a team. Make your own fire team. Not Osiris. I forget what was the name of the fire team in Master Chief's team. Yeah, I can't remember. I know Osiris was Locke's team.
Yeah, because if you like clones of sludge, we can cover it all, but if you have clone Master Chief dorky, and now you see why even Crackdown 6 go up. Because it drop in, drop out. Now I'm starting to understand why they deleted it, but I'm still in that camp. Well, not even moved on and accepted it, but that's why I was in camp. Like, just wait until everything's ready and then release the game. I've got some super chats I got to get to. We'll try not to go down the rabbit hole with them, but Lord Starkiller with a $5.
Saying right now,
No, Colt just went on a bot ride. You know.
Oh yeah. Oh, smokes. Hold on.
Somebody was downloading something in your house for a second, huh?
Yeah, is it smoothed out?
Yeah, you're good
now. Can you hear me?
Good now. You're good now.
I think I was just saying I can see why there's more to just drop in, drop out co-op with a green Spartan. Like, there's more to it. So hopefully everything's smoothed out now. But I got a couple super chats I want to get to, and I'll try not to go into the rabbit hole. But Lord Starkiller, thanks for the $5. He says, have an Xbox Series X mini fridge commercial where Master Chief is opening the mini fridge to reveal his favorite drink. They don't need to do that. They're going to sell those things like crazy without any marketing at this point. Adam Poston with the $5 says, Halo Infinite equipment operates on a charge-based system that refills over time. In multiplayer, only one equipment can be used with limited uses. So I think some of that's going to carry over into the campaign. Raiden Blade with the 10-pound super chat says, Forte, you are incorrect, sir. Most if Bungie stay. The difference was leadership and talking about Bungie. Let's talk about how Bungie is handling Destiny consumers, but this is Halo, but 343 had issue. I think he's talking about...
yeah, a lot of that stuff all made perfect sense. Like 343 had issues, Destiny taking stuff away from their players and making them pay for stuff that they didn't have to pay. This ain't nothing new, man. This is all par for the course. But the thing about Halo that's always got to me, yes, a lot of those people did leave Bungie and went over to Halo and actually worked with the game, and leadership is still a big problem when it came to the development of Halo Infinite. But it still falls, even though, look, developers, I don't blame developers. I will never blame developers. But 343 is still an entity under Xbox, and a lot of stuff that happened should not have happened under the watch of Xbox themselves. There was a lot of mismanagement, not just from 343. I think people blame 343 exclusively for that. You know, I love Xbox. I love Phil Spencer. I love all of them over there in the executive branch of the thing. But the fact that they let Halo get to the point where we had to question it a year ago is the biggest problem that myself and I know a lot of other Halo fans had. And this is their opportunity to fix it with this game in the way that they're going out with the rollout now.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that 343 has tried and failed at. Like, I think the Prometheans look so cool at first. They drove me crazy in the games. I'm glad they're gone. When I look at it, I agree, Forte. I look at them, I think you've got this formula preset for you. All you have to do is just capitalize on it. And to me, it almost seems like it can't be too difficult to botch a Halo game because it's just such a great franchise, but they've got a long ways to go. And what we saw today looks like they're finally, after, 8 years or 10 years of starting to make their way.
Brand new 8 years and a new engine.
Yeah. So Flame 5 with the $5 says Halo won't kill Destiny. That's true. Destiny's huge. Bungie's been doing that for 7 years. It's been alive. Sadly, he says, sorry, Forte, but the community is stubborn.
He's right. He's absolutely right, man. Listen, look, I already told people, nobody will kill Destiny. Bungie will kill it before anybody else kills that game.
Oh my gosh. And they're still talking about Destiny. We got Decimator X808 with a $5 Australian $5. He says, I was a massive Destiny 1 and 2 fan, even beat Crota with the Necrochasm, and I used the Ring of Intrusion and my Cape of Forgetfulness. No, I'm just joking. But when they made Destiny 2 a pay-to-win and made the grind worse, I stepped away for good, but it's improved now. People are still playing.
And that's something that...
Yeah.
That's something 343 needs to look out for, because, you know, with the monetization model that they have inside, we don't know what it's fully going to be inside of Halo Infinite, but that's something they definitely need to look out for, because what he just said about Destiny isn't even the same anymore. Like, that's been completely gone out of Destiny for like 3-4 years when it comes to the pay to win aspect of it. But for the fact that somebody still believes that's there, you should never implement anything like that into your game, because some people will never give you the benefit of the doubt later on.
Oh yeah, they'll never forget.
They'll never forget. So 343 definitely needs to find a way to skate clear of that type of stuff in the game.
I feel like right now they're just trying to make sure the game releases on December 8th. But yeah, they do. One more Destiny super chat because I don't want Rand to walk out on us.
Christ. I mean,
Listen, this is what happens.
Paid me for 2 hours. I'm out of here.
No, listen.
Gosh.
This is what happens, Rand. Like you keep saying that nobody cares about Destiny, but I'm trying to tell you though, people love that game.
People are crazy.
Here's what I'm going to do. With it, that's it.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna skew this super chat in Rand's favor so that he can use this opportunity to say his piece about Destiny, and then we'll move on. David Kirchhoff with the €5 super chat says, "Why support Bungie? They are worse than Activision, constantly taken out of context." Content out of the game where you pay for destination dungeons, weapons, and armor. Rand, what do you think about David's take on Activision and Bungie?
What was his take? I didn't.
That they're constantly taking out content where you have to pay for stuff, and
I don't like that. But then again, I don't pay. I don't think I've ever given Activision any money for microtransactions because
I've never really given anybody money for microtransactions.
Yeah, I mean, for most of the time, I don't like cosmetics. You know me, Colt. I don't care about cosmetics. Like, I'm not going to spend any money on Halo cosmetics. That just doesn't appeal to me. When I play Mass Effect, my character is the default character. Same thing. Skyrim's like I don't care. Like the cosmetic stuff doesn't bother me. So I don't. Spend
most
money.
of those things are in game. Like you get your armor by by upgrading stuff in game. Like stuff microtransactions. I don't know, but we got. Let's see, Matt McDonald Media. Thank you for the Canadian $5. You said, "Do you think it's actually possible the story in Halo Infinite isn't finished and will be told in multiple DLC segments? And if so, how will you guys react to that?"
I think they already hint that that's how it's going to be done.
Like the actual story for Halo, essentially?
Yeah, I think he means this December 8th release. Is there going to be a cliffhanger? And then they're like, tune in for season 2?
Possibly.
You guys are like,
I guess it really depends. I don't know. Like, how long is season 2 going to be? Are we talking about a year from now where we get part 2
longer,
of the campaign? I think it would be very beneficial for them to have a beginning, middle, and end, right?
Yes.
Where this is the story and it's told, and then anything after that is just the continuing adventures of Master Chief on Zeta Halo, right? And then
like an old Buck Rogers episode.
Maybe then, in 5 years you get like Halo Infinite, like some new chapter where it's another 8-hour campaign of something. So I get is this one of the things like Forte says, like, is Halo back? Maybe, but maybe it's too early to tell. The multiplayer seems like it'll be back. I think people are gonna love that, but the campaign, we just don't know. We saw the 6 minutes.
I'm excited though. Today we're excited, right? Like I was more excited than I've been. Like I like what Forte said. I thought they were gonna wait until November 15th and they were gonna show it the last minute they possibly could. But they came out confident and they showed a good showing today. And I think generally the media and the fans are really excited about how it looks, right?
So I think if you want to talk about, like he just said, like it's Halo back, it really comes down to what the definition of back is for you. Like, because Halo at its apex,
like Backstreet's back. All right.
Well, Backstreet's back, like in the back of a. Never, we're not gonna go there. But
Forte.
But we gonna go back. The tip of the spear was 2007. When there was billboards lit up in Times Square with giant Master Chiefs on top of it and stuff like that, and we're selling 13 million in the first 2 days. That was on top. So now it really comes down to, for me, what does Halo look like player base wise 6 months, 9 months? When we get into season 2, season 3, what's bringing you back to the game? Because we know that the campaign is going to be broken up. there are going to be story elements that's going to have a beginning, middle, and end. I do think what we get in December 8th will have a beginning, middle, or end. But in the totality of what the entire story is going to be, you're going to be spoon-fed that for however long they want to do over the course of however many years it's going to take. We know.
I think it'll take longer than a year or two to get another story-based campaign. Like 3 years from now or longer.
Well, this is the thing. You talk about the Banish. We're talking about the Banish, and we hear Atriox's name, but Atriox isn't the main protagonist, is what they're showing. The antagonist right now that they're showing in Halo Infinite. So how long is it going? How many lieutenants do we got to go through before we get the Atriox? So that should be the question. So is it going to be 4 seasons? Is it going to be 2 years? Are we going to have to go to a completely different Halo ring before we find out? Are we going to go to the Brew home world that's been talked about in all of these different books and games that we never got a chance to see?
Yeah. People want to see something new. So is there going to be like a cork board in the Pelican where he has like listed out all the lieutenants you have to work your way up to?
You got to work your way through. So as long as each part of it has a narrative branch that takes you to the next, and that's the one thing, a lot of people when it comes to Destiny hate it, because they would go for one narrative branch and they would skip one and go to some completely different thing that's not even in the realm of possibility of what's been going on and what you've been doing for the last 2 years. If they stay concise to the story narrative and just show you building up to that fight with Atriox or whatever they plan on that big baddie being at the end of it, they'll be perfectly fine. But you will be spoon-fed this over the course of probably 2 or 3 years before you get to the very end of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that kind of goes in line with what they're saying, but if we get like a good 10 to 15 hour experience,
you're going to get that. You're going to get that on December 8th.
That'd be good. But, I mean, you'll be done with the campaign, and that's the thing about co-op coming in. I bet campaign co-op comes in, like, in the summer, not spring, at the end of the season later when everything's ready to go. And by then, like, while I play with my friends, we'll have moved on. We'll play Stalker 2. We'll be getting ready for possibly Redfall. I got a couple more supers, and we got to wrap up because you guys have been amazing. The chat's been awesome. Forte and Rand you guys are great. I got to hear from Rand because Rand's amazing. We got Meat Puppet with the $10 says they had an extra year. How could they not have co-op ready? Maybe co-op is something that's not like normal difficulty, and then a second person joins and it increases it, making it harder like Borderlands. But we kind of talked that out quite a bit. But yeah, it was pretty more complicated than we thought. And Flame with the $2 super chat says also Forte 2-man flawless Crota's end. Wink.
Shout out to you, bro.
Yeah. So I don't know what the heck they
now go back said. And do it. Now go do it flawless by yourself.
It's all a bunch of gibberish.
Now go do it flawless by yourself. And
it's so funny to hear Rand dog on a game because he's played like every big game you could think of. And when I hear him bash something like Destiny, it just makes me happy because there is a bad bone in Rand's body somewhere, right?
Ask him, did he delete his characters yet? Did you delete those characters yet, Rand?
No, I mean, I deleted the game, though.
No, deleting the game is nothing. If you want to be done with
Destiny,
hooked.
He's not hooked on the game, Forte.
Listen, if he is done with the game, I want to see a tweet of him going into the dashboard, which will require him to re-download the game. I know that's going to be hard for him.
That ain't happening.
But re-download the game and hit.
Okay, Forte, wait, hold on. Forte, what is more likely, Rand, that you'll reinstall Destiny 2 and go all in, or you'll play a few minutes of a Pokemon game?
Whew. He got to have a Switch to do that, though. You got a Switch?
He has a Switch.
I do have a Switch. I probably would play Destiny.
Yeah, okay. You got a W on that one, Forte. 2 more super chats from Donataku's got 2 of them. Each of them $5 each. Thank you so much, Donataku, for supporting the show. He says, I think Cortana and the Banish story will end at launch for that first part of the campaign, but maybe one of the enemies shown today are the main antagonists in the next content drop. I was thinking the same thing. He says, or Master Chief's story will end altogether. Oh, no. And then the multiplayer Spartan takes over as the next campaign after coming out of the academy. I don't think so, but that's kind of cool to think about. One more, and then we're going to do outros because you guys are awesome. Risky for the Biscuit with an Australian $8 super chat says, I hope Halo kills Destiny. That game existence annoys me. Long live Halo. And Riska, you just lost a friend. Like, Forte was going to hang out with you. He was going to take you through the, take the Galahorn and bring it upon the raid of the Vault of Glass. And we were able to get 2 blue Ingrams and turn them into the, what's the guy's name that comes around every Friday? Zur brought us an epic item. No, I'm just kidding. But
I'll still hang out with you. Don't listen to this man. This man's being crazy right now.
When we're in party chat and on Xbox and Forte brings up Destiny, as you know, I love you, right? But I'm going to make fun of Destiny. He goes,
That's
fine. I can put you in a chokehold and take you down, no problem. But
and then I'll tell you when we're going to go back and play Mass Effect 3.
Okay, this is how hardcore we are, Rand. Did you know that Forte and I played back and pat Mass Effect 3 multiplayer co-op together one night?
Only like 10 times, Colt.
But, hey, you know what, Rand? I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the chat.
You
asked
right? Me. You said, "Hey, Rand, did you know me and Forte did this?" Unless there's
Shut up, Rand.
Name Rand.
Let me have this moment. We played it at like 480p, 22 frames per second
for like 2.5 hours.
Forte, where's the multiplayer for the trilogy?
Oh man,
for the Legendary Edition.
It needs to come because I want it bad.
Okay, I'm going to do this a little different because you guys are amazing. I'm going to start Rand's outro because Rand and I started talking in 2017. He was really starting to ramp up his channel, and he's been working on his content. I think Rand is the nicest, next to Forte, nicest guy in the community. He makes excellent content. He puts his nose to the grindstone and gets the content out, and he's got a great podcast. I am so grateful that Rand was able to stop by today and do the show. Rand, tell everybody where they're going to find you and what you're doing next.
You're so nice to me, Colteastwood. All those compliments, oh man, that made my day. It made me happy that Forte didn't know he was supposed to do your show today, and then I had to fill in for him for a little bit. So
also Rand went up like some 30,000 subs in the past year. Like he's just like we were getting ready for the console stuff, and he was just reporting on everything he was learning about. So Rand, you have had this nice rise to fame. People are giving you high fives as they go by you. What's next for Randolph Thor? Like where can they find you, and what are you doing next?
I mean, what is next? It's interesting. Well, the next is I don't know. We'll see. But you can always check out whatever I'm doing on my my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RandallThor19. Yeah, maybe me and Jazz will be on camera at some point next year. Maybe we'll take the Xbox 2 to the next level. Maybe I'll have Colteastwood design some merchandise for people to buy.
I would love to do that. That'd be really fun.
And stuff like that. I don't know. There's things we're due. You know, when is Colteastwood gonna do the Manscaped promo for XNC?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We had Jazz do that on Xbox 2. When is Colteastwood gonna be like, have you ever wanted to shave your balls?
Can you imagine that? Well, I'm gonna choose it on my face. How about that? I mean, that's funny, but that's cool. Like you guys got a sponsor reached out and says, "Hey, you guys are reaching people. Tell them about how to manscape." But congratulations. I gotta go. What's your next? You got some videos coming up? Are you planning on reporting on stuff?
I have a couple.
You gotta keep it hush hush.
I have a couple videos planned. I mean, but you know me. I always plan these things, and then sometimes it's just like I just would want to read my book and not worry about making videos. But there definitely will be another video this week for sure. Maybe even 2 more. I do have a couple ideas, so stay tuned.
Is one a PlayStation video?
No, who cares about PlayStation?
Listen, man. If you want to go to the next level, I already told you.
They go to the next level and say,
you gotta start talking because you are. Listen, you have broken more information and more news on PlayStation stuff than PlayStation insiders have. So you are, in fact, the PlayStation insider. So I need you to go ahead. Listen, Cole. He is under the impression that all 86,000 people that are subbed to him are all just Xbox fans. And I told him he's a dang lie because I guarantee you at least a quarter of those are probably PlayStation fans.
Great. Then he'll get a quarter of the views that video.
Doesn't matter. Hey, but it's better. Hey, when it's dead out here in Xbox, you know how many videos you make last month? 2. to all the whole month?
4, I think.
4. How many?
Wow.
How many could you have made?
This man's calling him out.
If PlayStation, how many videos could you have made last month if you made PlayStation content? Probably like another 4 or 5.
0.
Listen, we'll talk about this off air, sir. I'm gonna finally get. Listen, PlayStation fans in the chat. I am gonna get this man to give you some content on his channel because he neglecting y'all. He neglecting y'all. I'm just letting y'all know that.
I got to give a shout out to the platform agnostic, the man of love all around the planet, Forte, who he'll give love to the PlayStation. He'll give love to the Xbox. Sometimes he'll give love to the Switch. Tell him about your channel. Tell him about your podcast stuff. And are they going to come get PS5 bundles from you this week?
Listen, man, this Friday, all the stores in my area, we will have PlayStation bundles. If you're interested, you could drive up here and get one. Can't tell you how many we're going to have, but it's going to be a fun time. Just bring $700.
Wait, do you know?
I know.
Do you know how?
I know how.
You know how many bundles?
Yeah, I know how many.
Okay, I want you to wink. No, I'm just joking. Okay, go ahead.
Wink. Quite a few. Put it like that. But no,
awesome.
this has been great. I've been listening to you ever since you started doing the show. I just seen you grow more and more, and it's been a thrill to just watch you become even more of a better YouTuber and just host of your own podcast and the people you got on here. So shout out to you for doing the work that you do. Shout out to my homie for stepping in for me when I was like knocked upside the head earlier today. Didn't know where the heck I was because everything was falling apart around me. But
it's totally cool. I mean, I would just hit you up for next week. But
I know. But when you said Rand was on here, it was like, that's like my man crush right there. So
you gotta join in.
So I got to join in when Rand was here too. So I was like, cool. But outside of that, guys, it's Gaming Forte everywhere on YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation, stuff like that. DPS Podcast is our podcast we do every week on Thursdays at 9 p.m. I rotate with my homeboy Slomo Backslap. Last week was on his channel. It will be on my channel. So come through, check it out. We're going to be definitely diving into this Halo stuff. I got a couple of videos coming out about Halo and some other stuff that's going on. So if you like Destiny, you like Halo, you like Xbox and some PlayStation, because PlayStation does live on the channel just a little bit, but it's there. Check out the channel. And as always, Colt, appreciate what you do, man. And I'm always down whenever you need me, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'll have you on again. And we will talk. I should get you back on when Halo comes out. We'll see if anything we said tonight ended up coming true. But
I can tell you if we actually sold physical copies of it.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk. We will talk about it. But yeah, this is the XNC Podcast. I'm the host, Colteastwood. Thank you so much to Randall Thor. Rand, say you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Rand's awesome. Thank you, Forte, for showing up. We are going to get out of here. We're going to have some dinner. Forte's got to rest up because he's got a crazy week. Rand and I are going to get back to making content, and hopefully, Forte, you're able to do all that you're doing while you're taking care of the gamers out there, out in the consumer world. So have a good night, guys. We're out of here, and good night.